Alrighty. Hello everyone. How are we doing? So lovely to see you all. It'll be a nice chill evening. We're back with some more Community Spotlight. And today we're going to be taking a look at a game called Angel Wings Endless Night, which is a bit of an interesting one. Comes to us by developers called RumRaisin, and it's an interesting one because it was actually nominated and suggested back in the Halloween stream. Unfortunately, didn't get drawn, but the developer reached out and said, hey, you know what, if there's an opportunity, would love to be able to feature the game even outside of that. And feels appropriate because they had already been in the community, and the game actually just released really recently, 7th of November 2024. So this is the first time that we're actually looking at a game that has actually already released. You can go and play this game now if you want. A little bit different in that perspective. Great, was that natural light? It's like 7:30 p.m. Why is it so bright there? Because I'm in Australia and it's summertime. That's why it's so bright. It is actually middle of summer right now. And yes, it is 7:36 p.m. and that's why we're here. So let me just see who we're hanging out. Jensky McBride, hello. Thank you, and again, I apologize. You joined as a member last week in the live stream, and I completely forgot to call out and say thank you for supporting the channel, and I do apologize because I was in the middle of the interview with Silver, completely meant to actually say it afterwards and then forgot. So my apologies, hope you can forgive me. We've got Naive Melody hanging out, Raven Ann cleaning the room, be watching but not exactly lurking, try not to die. Sander, hello, thank you for joining in. Fang, hello. Lovely to have you actually hanging out in the chat today. Hope you're doing alright, Fang. Hope you're start feeling better soon. Basically Toxic, hi, first time being here in one of the streams, welcome. Thank you for stopping by and checking this out. This is a little bit different to what we normally do with the content, so hope you enjoy. This is going to be a little bit more of a deep dive into a game that has been actually developed and published by part of the community. Alright, I think that's everyone's hanging out. These streams are usually a little more cozy, so feel free to, you know, get yourself a nice drink, get yourself a snack. Got myself a lovely glass of Coke here. Beverage of choice for tonight. Now this one is going to be a little bit different to last week. Last week we did have Silver joining us live to kind of talk and discuss a little bit about their game. We don't have that same luxury today, but what we do have instead is some answers to a few questions from the developers, which I think are quite interesting and worth sharing before we get into the game for a little bit of insight about it. So just to give you something more interesting to look at, this is the game that we're going to be looking at today, Angel Wings Endless Night. The short blurb is, trapped in a haunted mansion with only your wits and an unlikely ally at your side, what will it take to survive this endless nightmare? This is a visual novel, which we've had a few of on the channel, but this one actually looks quite high quality. The art is absolutely lovely, and this isn't made in Ren'Py, is actually made in Unity, which is a little bit different as well. Yes, the stemless wine glass strikes again, it absolutely does. Jensky, all good. Felt bad that I accidentally interrupted Silver. Don't worry. I'm just glad to have you on board as part of the community, Jensky. Now, as I was saying before, this game is actually already out, released on the 7th of November, and is free. You can go jump in and play it right now if you want to. Heck, you could play along with me as we play on the live stream if you want. Make some different choices and see what happens. That could be good fun. But there is also a DLC pack if you wanted to jump in and support the developers. But yeah, otherwise the game is free. You can play through it in your own time. Comes with achievements. It is single player, but everything is there. It's had a few reviews. It's got a little bit of a positive reception already, with 33 reviews overall, but obviously this is the kind of thing we want to see. Is it good? Do we want to give this a little bit more coverage? And probably most importantly, what can we learn from this as a project? So on that note, unfortunately, like I said, we won't have any developers joining us tonight, but I did ask them some questions ahead of time, and I thought it'd be interesting to share their answers. So, let's go through this before we get into the actual game. So, there were a couple of people that worked on the game, who's RumRaisin, and their code developer called Virusek, or Virusek, not quite sure on the pronunciation. So, they did say, as a bit of background, the first Angel Wings, also free on Steam, if I come over here and open up developer, you'll see they have Angel Wings Endless Night is their most recent one, but they did also have one simply called Angel Wings. Apparently there's a bit of crossover with the characters in it as well, but this one came out 3 years earlier in 2021. It began as a bit of a college project years ago, created by myself and 2 devs. We sought to make something that we could devote ourselves to and be proud of. Releasing in 2021, we look back on it fondly, but there were major areas of improvement that we hope to address in a new installment. So it's nice to get a little bit of background as to where they've come from with their games. And just heads up, I can't see the chat while I've got this up at the moment. I'll come back to you guys in a sec. So first question I asked them was, what engine did they choose and why? And this was Virasek that responded saying Unity, because it was a technology I was familiar with, and the old engine used for our previous game wasn't built for something with voice acting, controller support, and it wasn't very fast to iterate the story inside the engine. So obviously they changed engines between the first and the second games, but for quite sound decisions from the sound of it. So then I asked, what was the inspiration for the game? RumRaisin responded to this one saying, the inspiration for Endless Night are twofold: classic survival horror games and films, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Evil Dead, etc. We love the campy, over-the-top vibes of some of these franchises and hope to reflect that in our story, providing an off-malign side character from the original Angel Wings a chance to shine as the protagonist of Endless Night. Elise was my favourite character to write, and I think the story reflects that, so I'm looking forward to seeing more about this Elise character. It's always fun when you can take a side character from a previous project, game, show, whatever it might be, and it's a fan favorite and they get evolved and get their own story. So I always think that's quite fun. So the next question I asked was there anything important that you learned about game development while working on this project that might be helpful for someone else? Again, this was RumRaisin first, saying scope creep and the importance of testing. Even though Endless Night is a short game, 5 to 6 hours for a full clear, and we enlisted a few lovely beta testers, I personally spent over 125 hours testing the game and fixing issues, and Virasek probably tripled that. The amount of effort that goes into identifying and fixing bugs is truly a major commitment, and the more testers you can find, the better. As for the scope creep bit, the game's development took longer than expected because we built and therefore had to test many new features with dozens more ideas we simply did not have time to develop. It's important to have a focused list of what is necessary and iterate from there once the initial list is complete. I think that's pretty sound advice, to be honest. Some good tips in there, like scope creep is something that's going to impact you whether you're working in game design, editing, project management in general is where that's going to come in. Being able to really focus and narrow down what it is that you're trying to create and stick to that as closely as possible, it's going to make a big difference to how the actual project unfolds. Not to say that a little bit of scope creep is not necessarily a bad thing, because there might be some things that you overlooked in your initial scoping, but you just got to keep it under control, right? And then I think the comment around bug testing is quite interesting. I found 125 hours of testing plus triple from another, from the other developer. I find wild, considering that it's a game that's 5 to 6 hours long. So it sounds like they've been quite thorough with it. Fingers crossed we don't find any bugs in our playthrough tonight. Virasek added to this saying, I guess it's generally split into 2 categories. I learned a bunch of specific stuff, new technologies, new ways to do stuff in Unity, etc. But making a project of this scope also made me learn a bit more about time management, which we still suck at, and generally how to organize anything that isn't a game jam sized game. I think that's very true as well. The moment you go from something that's like just a small game jam style project to something that's a full-fledged release, the scale and scope of everything is going to massively balloon, and therefore your ability to keep that under control and manage your time effectively is going to be critical. So 2 more questions they asked. First one was, what part of the game are you the most proud of? RumRaisin said the opportunity to work with so many talented voice actors was an absolute treat. From working with the famous names, Tiffany Grant, best known for, I'm going to mispronounce this, I think it's Asuka from Evangelion, plays the role of Nuri/Cassia in Endless Night. So that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that. They've got a voice actor from Evangelion into this game. That's cool. To collaborating with some first-timers, it was a really special experience. On a personal level, the overall polish, stability, and art design is leaps and bounds improved from the first game. It feels like a quality product, and as a 2-person dev team, it's awesome to be able to point to a game of this scale and say, oh yeah, we did that. I love that. We also listened to feedback from the first game, the most common critique being that the endings were short and inconclusive. The ending of Endless Night is nearly an hour long, and in my opinion is worth the wait. To me, this is absolutely why it's so important to build up your repertoire and your experience by doing smaller releases first and getting audience feedback. Because if you try and dive in with your very first project as being like an 80-hour expansive open world RPG, you're going to be thousands of hours into the development progress before you get feedback on something and go, oh, actually, that's just not fun. That's not how it should work. But because they've done the smaller project first, they got feedback from their audience to say, actually, you need to rethink the way that you handle your endings, and they've been able to iterate and improve on that in a sequel, which is the one that actually matters, right? The last question I asked was, if you were trying to make this game today, what would you do differently? RumRaisin said, I think we would have made it sooner. Endless Night was meant to be a fun side story that complements the original Angel Wings, but it took us 4 years to complete due to rebuilding the engine in Unity and the addition of voice acting. As with any game, I think there are opportunities to expand, add more features, etc. I love Endless Night for what it is and had a great time creating it. The leftover ideas will just have to wait until the next game. I think as well that that is some golden advice there. I think it relates back to what they were saying before about keeping in with the scope of the game, and it's acknowledging that you might have some additional ideas which are fantastic, but they don't have to be included in your original version of the game. They can come into a future project, and that's totally fine. Alright, so that is everything that we had on there. Let me just jump back in and see what I missed in terms of the chat. Hopefully you found that interesting, hearing a bit from the devs beforehand. Naive Melody, wondering if Ultraman will show up. Somehow I doubt it, unfortunately, but that would be interesting. Every character is voiced by Jacksepticeye. Oh no, everyone's turned Irish. That'd be amazing. Good enough. Yeah, the Irish Markiplier. That's excellent. I like that. Yes, I am using the low latency mode right now, so if people send something through in the chat, I should be able to read and respond to it much quicker when I've actually got the chat open and I'm looking at it. Yes, Evangelion, I think it's going to be quite cool, but yeah, no voice acting for this one. Apologies, but you know what, that's probably for the best, all things considered. Okay, let's jump in and have a look at the actual game, shall we? Here we go. Let's dive in. This is Angel Wings Endless Night, and of course we're going to talk about the presentation and the options menus first, because come on, is this really a Graeldon stream if we don't take a look at those? I have to say, to begin with, the presentation is pretty sleek. I think it's simple and effective. I personally would appreciate probably a slightly more dynamic title screen, even just like a little bit of subtle motion in the background to give it just a little bit more feeling of being a real environment would be nice. But I think it's going to be static environments throughout, and this is just the theme that they use for the game, so I really can't complain too much about it because the detail in the art is gorgeous. Yeah, I agree, Sanders. Something like just little dust particles moving in the light makes it just feel like a more realized location rather than maybe just concept art, right? Thematically, this is already looking good. They've used consistent colors, consistent fonts throughout, and you already start to get a theme for like the branding of the game, if that makes sense. Yeah, the fact there isn't dust moves kind of throwing. Okay, good. It's not just me. Good to know. Let's have a look in the options section. So it's divided into game, video, audio. Under game, we've got text speed, captions, and skip mode. I'm just going to put captions on because sometimes it's interesting to see what's hidden down in there. The rest of the settings we'll leave as is. Normal text speed should be fine, but we've always got the option to bump it up if we want to. Under video, yep, it detected borderless full screen to begin with. Actually, not the right resolution, which is interesting. Let's bump that right up, but it doesn't really matter because it's expanded to full anyway. Yeah, it stays the same. Only applies if you're doing full screen or windowed, I think. Film grain on by default. We'll see how that looks. And then audio, thank you. Separate sliders for different things. We've got music volume, sound effects, text, and voices. Love having that level of control, so thank you for making a good options menu. The only small bit of feedback that I would have on here is that for the option that is highlighted, it actually becomes slightly harder to read. I think maybe just highlighting it with a red underline or a red background would have been sufficient without needing to actually have this. It's not quite a blur. I think we just changed the highlight, the border around it from black to gray, but it makes it look fuzzy, which is really interesting. So again, it's just a very small thing. I wouldn't change it, but it's just something that I noticed and went, okay, interesting. There is an extra section for outfits, replaying parts of the story credits. We're not going to worry about that. So let's dive into the actual game. Feng2, Grail, quick, can you turn the voices off and do your own? Now's your chance to kick. No, not happening. Sound will all have egg on a face when it's revealed it's a supernaturally dustless mansion. I mean, they do keep this place spotless. No one lives here, but they've still hired cleaners to come through twice a day to remove any and all dust. Alright, ooh, we have Endless Night and then actually Endless Summer. So there's an additional story afterwards. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, that's a nice little tease, actually. I kind of like that. You go to start the game, it goes, oh, which mode did you want to play? Oh, too bad, you can only play one of them. Sometimes stuff like that's nice because it already gets you thinking, oh, okay, where does this story go? They're branching alternate paths. Now I'm intrigued. All right, there is no way that we're going to be able to finish this, but we're going to dive in. Ah, that's gorgeous. Hello. Nice thematic menu. Let's do our character name. We are going to be Graeldon, not Larry today. Is this saying we actually get to pick the voice and pronouns for our own player character? Because if so, that's actually really freaking cool.
I'm not sure what to expect. Yeah, I got it.
Am I gonna die? I'm not sure what to expect.
Yeah, I got it. Am I gonna die?
So it looks like they got 3 voice actors, 2 male, 1 female, and then you can just change the pronouns.
Yeah.
Am I gonna die?
Ooh, okay, hang on a second, let me just check something.
Am I gonna die?
I'm not sure what to expect.
Not sure what to expect.
I got it.
I got it.
Cool, that's one thing that could be improved. Note for the future, because the devs aren't here now, but I know they're going to be watching this back later. If you have voice options or anything similar in a menu, when you change between different versions, you need to make sure that you cut the sound that's playing for the previous one when the new one starts, so that they don't overlap and turn into a...
I got it.
Apologies if you're using headphones. But actually even works if you're just doing one. The voices in my head. There's so many voices. But actually, chat, I want to know, serious voice now. Should I go with none? And I do the voice acting for my own character. Is that something we should do, or do we want to... Because we're going to hear plenty of other voice actors, so I feel like maybe we should. I'll follow you. You let me know what you want me to do. Fang2 says, please. Basically Toxic says, hell yeah. I have no idea what Asuka sounds like. So I really can't do an impression. I've not seen Evangelion. I know, I'm a heathen. I've not seen Evangelion, but I need to. Become Australian Markiplier, please. Hello everybody, my name's Markiplier. And welcome back to Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh god, I wish I could be as charming and handsome as Markiplier, but I don't think I can even hold a candle to him. That'd be great fun. But yeah, sure, let's do it. We'll do some voice acting. It'll be good fun. Alright. So far, loving the presentation of this game. Full marks so far. Good day, everybody. My name's Markiplier. Okay, this is the captions for sound effects. Gotcha. Someone's having a bad day. Why are we running through a forest? Who hurt you? Okay. It's a little generic, but I'm cool with it. In 1983, 7 classmates visited a mansion on the outskirts of New Elvis City. Reported missing days later, their bodies were never found. To this day, there has been no information regarding what happened to them, as if they simply disappeared without a trace. This mysterious occurrence was known as the Mansion Incident. because the mansion didn't have a name or an address, so we just called it The Mansion. Angel Wings, Endless Night. Not a bad intro. I'm cool with it. Yes! Excellent. My name actually appears there. So, how far is this place? We've been driving for a while now. Still 13 minutes away? Really?
We're almost there. Be patient. It'll be worth it.
Okay, so far, I like that it actually just immediately shows all of the controls down the bottom. You also have the option to hide the UI if you want. So if you just want to admire the artwork, you absolutely can. It's got a lovely kind of painterly feel to it, actually, rather than being like hand-drawn. It does look like paint on a canvas, which is quite nice. Got a little bit of background music. We have the option to press a button to instantly see the full chat history, and
we're almost there.
You can even replay lines.
Worth it.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit interesting. You still can highlight, and it looks as though you're clicking these ones. So how far is this place? We've been driving for a while now. Yeah, have to do it myself, absolutely. Alright, the design for the characters is lovely, and I believe this is all original art, so they've done a great job with this. So far, this feels very much like what I would expect from a visual novel, so I'm interested to see where this goes. I also want to check, if I hide the UI, can I still advance the text? No, I can't. Just gives me the prompt for showing the UI again. I mean, that would be pretty cool if you just wanted to really immerse yourself in it. Turn the UI off, but still be able to advance like the voiceover. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to do that if you're meant to be doing your own lines, but if everything is voiced, being able to turn it off and basically have an audio book with accompanying visuals, that's kind of nice. And then it could have like an additional prompt that comes up to be like, oh, by the way, you have to make a choice now. And she's got the Clock Tower 1 get up for real. Okay. Yeah, no, I kind of see it. I bet Kay's going to make me pay for the gas we used on this trip. It was hard enough convincing her to let us borrow the car in the first place. Besides, how many people would even come all the way out here for a Halloween party? I bet there's hundreds of them in the city tonight. And didn't someone die at Elisa's house or something? I remember hearing something like that.
I think that was just a weird rumor. Besides, Elisa's house parties are so much fun.
Alright, what I'm actually going to do is, and I like that I can do this within the game, thank you. I'm going to drop the music down slightly and bump the voices up a little bit, because I want to pay more attention to the voices. The music's just nice in the background. Alright. I guess. I mean, I do remember the party at her apartment. That was a good time. Well, I remember parts of it. Kinda.
Oh, no. That's just a regular weekend for her. A party at her real house is 10 times better.
So far, voice acting's pretty good. And that's not just a little pat on the back compliment. Like, for the characters, is really nice. Let me know how the audio balance is, though, if you want, like, the voices down a little, music up a little. I can bump it up a little bit more if you can't hear it that well, Naive Melody. Yeah, Fang2 saying I can't hear the music to begin with. Okay, yeah, we'll bump it up just a little. It was just starting to overpower the voices a touch before. There we go. But it is just very faint fantasy music. 10 times? Alright, then you've convinced me. As we rumble down the road in our borrowed sedan, the path begins to curve and wind harshly into a dense forest of evergreens, each taller than most of the houses in our neighborhood. I can barely see anything. I might have to turn the headlights on. Okay, so I'm actually driving. Cool.
Driving through these woods is always scary.
How often do you come through here, Nuri? Wanna hold my hand?
You think I trust you with one hand on the wheel? That's even worse.
Ah, it's perfectly safe. Trust me.
And no, I don't want to hold your hand.
Fang, to be fair, making the game volume a little higher would be the sweet spot. I think I've got the... Yeah, master volume is maxed out, so let me just... Whoop, and that should be a little louder for you now. Alright, so yeah, I guess the question is, how many people am I hitting on in this game? Fine, I'll take both hands off the wheel then.
Stop! You're gonna give me a heart attack. Put them back on the wheel.
No. The tires whine and hiss in protest as I narrowly avoid running headfirst into one of the many trees hugging the roadside. Okay, never mind. This ride has so many twists and turns, it's crazy. Nuri exhales with a sigh of relief, knuckles white from clutching the seatbelt. Yeah, they actually die, absolutely. Hopefully that volume's a little better now, bumped up just a little for you.
You're the worst.
Relax, we're fine. Oh, I can see the way out. We've left the forest and followed the light at the end of the tunnel. What the... As the trees clear from my field of view, my eyes are greeted by lush, impeccably trimmed fields of emerald green grass, spanning an area that surely has its own zip code. And, at the end of the long stone path, a mansion. Steeply sloping roof lines, brick smokestack chimneys, and more windows than I could possibly count, all guarded by an ominous white marble fountain. Yeah, the art is gorgeous, basically, Toxic. I agree. It's very smooth, but it's also structured in such a way it allows the viewer to focus on some of the really important details. So you notice, like, there's a lot less detail over to the left and the right of the screen because they don't want you looking at that, don't want you focusing on it. It wants your attention to be drawn to this monolith of a mansion front and center. One small touch that I actually quite like is that for the narration, there's actually like the little scratchy sound effect of like a pen or pencil on paper, which contrasts compared to the actual voice lines. And you know, simply putting it in italics makes it very, very clear that this is not a spoken line. While the mansion clearly shows its age, it's obvious that Elisa's family has taken deliberate care in preserving it.
Isn't it huge?
That's what she said. This kinda looks like a haunted house or something, don't you think? Nuri flashes me a look of sheer terror. What? You scared?
No.
Where do I even park this thing? I feel like I should be, like, a mile away so I don't lower the property value with my presence.
Good question. I think that's Jeeves over there. Let's ask him.
Hang on a sec, let me bring up the website. Let's head to Ask Jeeves. Ah, the good old family indentured servant. I mean, butler. Ah, hello, Jeeves. I roll down my window to greet the elderly man in front of the house. He wears a tuxedo and white gloves. And he actually does wear a tuxedo and white gloves. Thank you. Actual consistent storytelling. Naive Melly is weirdly similar to an early chapter in my novel, give or take meat pits and vaguely grimy menacing men. Don't worry, we might get some of those soon. Just wait, remember, this is a horror game, not a romance game. Romance subplots, but primarily Homer. What was that? Horror. That's what happens when I try and read and speak at the same time. Does Elise make him dress like this? I feel sorry for this guy. Hi, Jeeves. We're here to see Elise. Where should we park?
Actually, it's Alfred. Jeeves is the chauffeur.
Ah, hello, Alfred. Lovely to meet you, my fine friend. How are you doing on this marvelous day? Wait, Elise has both a Jeeves and an Alfred? What's next, a Batcave? Nuri nudges me with her elbow, brow furrowed in concern. Oh, sorry. I have a bad habit of thinking out loud.
Yes. Well, I do believe you two are esteemed guests of Madame Elise.
Damn straight.
In that case, I shall find an appropriate location for you.
Yes, we'll take it out back and burn it. Gotcha. Thanks. I hand him the keys as he takes the car out of sight. Was that bad of me to say out loud? Hearing romance game and Hummer in the same general sentence from Graeldon was not on my bingo card. It wasn't on anyone's bingo card, let's be honest, Jensky. But to be fair, like, I want to put like the little caveat on this that I am at the end of a very long work day. where I've been in meetings all day and talking, and my brain is fried. So I'm probably going to make some mistakes as I read through this. So please forgive me. But you know what? It's part of the fun. We get to see how things go wrong. Also, I'm liking that they've already introduced a new music track specifically for this setting. It started off very like light and fantasy, but this is now very somber, melancholy. It's simple strings with a bit of birdsong in the background. It gives a very formal, royal feel to this. Like, it's the kind of music you do expect to hear when you walk into the mansion of a very famous person. You can just hear the string music playing faintly in the background, and it makes you feel uncomfortable and out of place because you are not as rich as anyone else. He's going to start going on business discussion in the middle of playing. Yeah, my bad. Was that bad of me to say out loud?
You're making fun of him.
I just think it's too much of a coincidence that they're named Jeeves and Alfred.
That is fair.
I think we need to increase the text speed slightly. And that's one thing that always gets me is when the speed of the text progression is slower than the actual voiceover. So let's bump that up. I never get used to this place. How many people are even coming tonight?
At least 100. This place gets wild. A little too wild for me, but it's Elise, so...
I feel like I've seen a movie about this kind of thing. You're either very rich or very evil if you introduce yourself with a laugh like that. But what I will say is that laugh was delivered wonderfully. Amazing. Both. Yeah, quite possibly. Oh, hi. Interesting. I feel like you were someone that... No, actually, I'm not finishing that sentence. No. If she's evil, date her. I mean, when she looks like that... Just saying. Just saying. The double doors of the mansion swing open as we approach. The piercing sound of rich girl laughter assaulting my eardrums as our gracious host stands in the doorway.
Greetings, my darlings. It's been too long since you've been graced with my presence, hasn't it?
Now, this is an interesting one. I'll see if it grows on me a little bit, but my initial thought is that the voice matches the description that we've been given of a posh character, but the visuals don't quite match the voice. Maybe it's just me, maybe it'll grow on me, but it sounds like a more mature voice than this character is portraying. Hi,
Elise.
Right, Elise, gotcha. Elise bounces over to Nuri, wrapping her arms around her like a boa constrictor about to squeeze the life out of a rat.
Oh, hello, dear. Oh, you look extra ravishing today. Have you done your makeup differently?
Yeah, it sounds very British, but the appearance is not. So I'm getting a little bit of contrast there, which... cognitive dissonance, I think, is the term.
Actually, I'm not wearing any. I figured I'd just do it when I put on my costume.
Like, don't get me wrong, because the character design is lovely. It's gorgeous. But yeah, it's just the voice and the appearance don't quite match. It's like sometimes if you watch dubbed anime, poorly dubbed anime is when they've done really terrible casting choices, and it just does not suit the character in any way, shape, or form. And some people will fight back at me and go, Grail, all dubbed anime feels wrong because it's in English or German or French or whatever it is, and it's not Japanese, and therefore it's wrong. And you know what? I hear you on that one. She said, actually, I'm not wearing any. If you could just do it and put on my costume.
Oh, even better. A natural beauty. My.
She quickly glances at me, her blood-red gaze burning like lasers into my skull.
Oh, long time no see, dear. Thank you ever so much for bringing Nuri over. You've not been here before, have you?
Definitely not.
Well, then we must give you the grand tour.
Oh, the
Come
grand
along
tour.
now.
That's a nice touch. It's not a grand tour, it's a grand tour. Good job, voice actors. Why do I feel like Elise didn't used to look like that?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Nothing. I must be losing it. Okay, let's go inside. Ah, yes, and this is what we saw on the title screen. Seeing it in the daylight now, though, looks lovely. The striking double staircase is the first thing I notice when I walk into the sparkling mansion lobby, with floors clean enough that I can see my own reflection, and probably eat off them too. This place is even bigger on the inside.
This mansion's been restored many times over by our lovely groundskeepers. While it may be centuries old, it certainly doesn't feel that way, does it?
I heard that...
And any rumors of deaths on this premises are entirely unsubstantiated.
Okay, I will not ask about the deaths.
Yeah, there was that unfavorable business 2 Halloweens ago, but I digress.
So a death is unfavorable business. I'd be really curious to hear what qualifies as a tragedy in your books, Elise.
Are we clear?
No, clear as mud. I nod my head, half afraid Elise will eat me if I disagree.
Anyway, I believe Zachary is, Z is,
You can actually, that's great voice acting, but you can tell that she's said that with like an element of disgust that she's having to use a nickname rather than the full formal name. That's actually nice characterization. Great work. Rich people can't believe they can afford to keep it warm. Oh no, it's freezing in there. They're just pretending that it's not. A normal thing to bring, Elise. Also, I looked into it. Nuri does actually have the voice actor of Asuka from the Eva dub. Ah, okay, so they had that character in straight away. The first one, not the Netflix dub, but still kind of cool. Thanks for that, Fang.
Foolish brother. One moment, I'll go rouse him.
Now, what are the odds that the brother is also drop dead gorgeous?
In the meantime, Jeeves, bring our guests some refreshments, won't you?
Yes, bring the refreshments, Jeeves. I'm parched. Another elderly tuxedo-clad man shambles out of a nearby hallway, already holding a silver platter with flutes of golden bubbly liquid as Elise prances up the staircase.
Oh, I shouldn't. Well, okay. Thank you.
Oh, it's so hard to convince you of anything, Nuri.
Of course, madam.
I swear, Jeeves and Alfred are the same person. It's like an artist drew the same guy twice. I'm not crazy. That's a nice little subtle nod. Am I? Is it normal for people to drink this early in the day? It's like 1 in the afternoon. Is this a rich person thing?
No, I think it's just an Elise thing.
And now a Nuri thing. I look up as I hear Elise's chiding voice from the second floor.
Ugh, Zachary, you're a mess.
Oh yeah.
In front of our guests, no less. Have you no shame, dear brother?
Huh. This is one of those games where everybody is hot. And then there's me.
Yes.
Ah, is Z because he's sleepy.
Yes, of course. You didn't forget, did you?
It's too early for you to be this loud.
Oh, come now. Say hello to our dear friends.
You know what the one thought is that pops into my head about this mansion? Do you reckon they got Wi-Fi? What's the internet like out here? He looks like the kind of guy who just like bundle himself up into a room, probably plays League of Legends until about 3 in the morning, if he's got Wi-Fi. He's probably having to play using cellular data, so he's playing with like a 500 millisecond ping minimum, but somehow still manages to win every match. Yeah, K-pop James Sunderland. Yeah, Fang, they absolutely don't. They have so many modems and extenders. Yeah, there's only one access point. If you're down this end of the mansion, absolutely, you'll get Wi-Fi. But if you head down that way, too bad, you're out of range. He rubs his eyes and descends the stairs, raising a hand in greeting as he grabs a glass of champagne from Jeeves' silver platter.
Hi, Z.
Hey.
He yawns, clearly unfazed by Elise's enthusiasm.
Nori dear, do you want to see some of the costumes I've prepared for tonight? Everyone must have one, and I'm prepared to donate if I have to.
Now this is a little touch that I quite like, is they've brought characters in and out of the scene depending on where the focal point of the conversation is. So Z's now been moved away because Nuri came back into the conversation, and presumably Z might take a bit of a sideline until he's got something to pitch back in again. They could have had all three characters on screen at the same time, but actually would have made it feel a bit too visually cluttered. And this actually helps to keep the conversation feeling more dynamic, which I actually quite like. And I was going to say as well, the fact that I'm just like playing through and voice acting and enjoying the story means this is quite a polished product, because I'm not finding things to point out and critique really, but I do still want to call out some of the good things that it's doing where possible.
Ooh, sure. Maybe I can find something to add to mine, like some cheap jewelry or something would work.
I never even asked what you're dressing up as.
Aquaman. Aqua woman, I mean. I have a red wig in my bag and everything.
I don't think Aquaman had red hair.
Well, the Little Mermaid did.
Ah, that's not... Okay. I'm sure it'll be great. Elise giggles as she whisks Nuri up the dozens of steps to the second floor. Apparently they do have AC though, that's nice.
Hey.
So I'm left with Z.
Didn't see you there.
Oh, this is gonna be awkward. I don't know you. Hey, Z. You normally drink champagne right after you wake up? Takes a long sip from his glass, nearly draining the entire flute in a single gulp.
Oh. Is that weird? I don't know, man.
Is everyone in this city an alcoholic? Having imbibed the golden elixir of life, he shakes his head and perks up a little, awakening from his morning, afternoon grogginess. You can just see him doing like the, what is it? I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was Shrek 2 with the Prince Charming doing the big hair flick in slow motion.
You ready for tonight, dude? I've been waiting forever for this.
Oh yeah, he's the killer. 100%. Hey, and now we get some choice, and I like the way that just pops in and slides in from the side. That is slick. That's a very clean touch, and I like that. Oh, hang on, back on. Oop, doop. The joys of wearing glasses and headphones. Yay. We're good. And maybe at least dresses up like an archer and fights other ruling elites. No, Aquaman, unfortunately, or Aquawoman. We should dress up like famous horror mascot Neighbor from indie horror darling Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor. It kind of appeared, there was a big kerfuffle around it, and then it just vanished. I did not keep up with the news around that game. Something went wrong from the sound of it. The romance begins. I agree. To be fair, I actually really like Z's voice. Alright, what are we going to do here? Hell yeah, bro. I'm not sure what to expect. Or I just drove Nuri here. I'm going to go... I'm not sure what to expect. Never been to this party before. I'm not sure what to expect.
It's gonna be lit. Just wait.
Am I gonna die?
If you live, it means you didn't do it right, bro.
What the hell kind of party is this? Shit. So, what do your parents do, Z?
Huh?
Just wondering. I mean... I figure they must be pretty impressive to own a place like this.
Oh, yeah. Not really sure.
Cool. You don't know what your parents do.
Well...
I can hear a shrill voice calling out to me from afar.
Could I have you upstairs for a moment, darling?
Yeah, there's definitely something dodgy going on behind the scenes here.
I guess my lovely sister wants you to help her with something. Good luck.
Oh, I thought she was calling out to you. Thanks?
Doodles.
You know that was followed with a little wink. Please don't ever do that again. I do wonder if that changes slightly depending on the voice that you choose at the start of the game. Hey, Wendy. Yeah, you came in at a fun moment. Welcome. We're playing a horror visual novel that apparently has some mild dating elements in it as well, so this could prove to be quite fun. Ascending the unnecessary number of stairs made me far more winded than I expected. Maybe it was the long drive here, but I'm feeling exhausted today.
What's wrong? Have you been spending too many late nights at Jay's bar?
You know what? That's probably it. The alcohol's killing me. And take another swig of my champagne.
Well, I called you up here to get you a costume, since Nuri has informed me you are sorely lacking in that department, as I can see.
No, I'm already dressed. I'm going tonight as a standard nerd. You can see I have the collared shirt and everything. We're good to go. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot to pick one up before today.
Well, that simply won't do. You can't wear that tonight.
Wow, rude.
Now, take a look at this selection, and then we'll have you see the tailor in short order.
I'm sorry, you have a tailor in your house? Also, one thing I'm just noticing, I think this art over here on the left and this art here is the same art, just with like a bit of a filter applied over part of it. Like, this feels like concept art for this character. Could be wrong, but yeah, the similarity in the pose is there, right? You have a tailor for a Halloween party. You know what? Nothing surprises me anymore. You could tell me you have a bat cave, like not even the superhero one, but as in a literal cave full of bats under this mansion, and I wouldn't bat an eye.
Oh, you're so silly.
Oh, I am dust. Less than dust to this lady.
It's not a bat cave. It's a dungeon we have down there. Anyway, if you're tired, this is the guest bedroom. You could take a nice little siesta on the bed right there. Nuri and I will leave you alone.
I don't want to ask about what's in that dungeon, do I? I'm sure it's plenty of whips and chains. You know what? That sounds like a pretty good idea.
Wonderful.
The bed, not
Can I get
going
you
to the
anything
dungeon.
else? More champagnes, Annex?
I'm okay, thanks. Wait, what?
Oh, nothing, dear. I'll leave you be.
The hair on the back of my neck stands on end as Elise aims her scarlet needle gaze at me.
You simply must pick out a nice costume, though. Understand?
Oh, we're getting kinky, apparently. Yeah, I got it.
Lovely. Well, let's not disturb our sleeping beauty now. Nuri, shall we?
Yep, bye, Nuri. I'm just gonna have a nap. Don't die.
Sure. Sleep well.
Toodles!
I have reservations about leaving Nuri alone with Elise. Something about her rubs me the wrong way. Can't quite put my finger on it, though. Oh, you know what? She's probably just a vampire. That's probably just straight up it. Elise is just a vampire. I lie on the thick embroidered silk sheets among what must be hundreds of boldly coloured costumes. Most still bear the original store tags, while some look even more elaborate. Why am I laying on a bed that is covered in costumes? Why don't I just push the costumes off? Like, come on, give me some space. DJ MV Productions, you're drunk at 3 AM and ended up here. Welcome. Welcome to a weird stream for a weird game. No, it's not even a weird game, it's a good game. Quick rundown for you. This is Community Spotlight. I'm playing games that have been suggested to me and recommended by members of the community. So people in my subscriber base or friends of have actually approached me and said, hey, I made a game. Can you review it and have a look at it for me? So this is what we're playing at the moment, which is Angel Wings Endless Night. It is a horror visual novel that we're just getting into. So feel free to stick around for as long as you like. Did Elise make these? My eyelids droop as my consciousness begins to fade. Pondering about Elise sewing has made me very sleepy. She does seem like she'd be good with sharp objects. And we just pass out. Straight up. That's the end of that. It's time for some naps. I don't think anything at all is going to go... Where are we? Oh, not again. What the... Where am I? This isn't It's too dark to really make out the details, but this cold stone floor and musty odor of mold confirms that I must be somewhere underground. The basement? The dungeon? Nah, not enough whips or chains down here. I have to say, last time I woke up in an unfamiliar place, it was a lot nicer than this. Did Elise do this to me? I should have known. Bet there was something in that champagne. But if there was something in the champagne, that means Nuri probably got as well. I'm pretty sure I am about to get dissected, saw style. What kind of trap is Elise prepared for me? After frantically confirming my limbs are in fact intact, I breathe a sigh of relief that there's not a bear trap attached to my skull or anything like that. At least, not yet. Yeah, way too casual about this. As my eyes slowly adapt to the darkness, I scan the room for an exit. Stone walls surround me, with thick wooden posts supporting the decaying plaster ceiling as water drips from its fractured surface. I rub my fingers together, trying to get the scum off my hands. This is definitely not water. All I know is this is not a place I want to be in. I think there's a stairwell at the end of the room. Still a bit dazed and confused, I roll onto my stomach and sit up on my hands and knees, once again coating my palms in mud. Or whatever it is. Gross. Honestly, I expected Elise to take better care of her basement. The rest of her place was so nice. Maybe this is a real dungeon after all. Anyway, let's get the hell out of here. I want answers, and not in the curious, optimistic way I did when I first came to this city. I want out and far away from wherever this is. I think I see a light bulb, or at least the blurry shape of one. Maybe I can... I feel a string hanging from the ceiling. Nice! Okay, love it. Dynamic environments. That's a nice touch. Dim light fills the room, allowing me to finally make out the details of my surroundings. The shadows appear to flicker in the light's uneven glow, and for a moment, I swear I can see something moving in the corner of my eye. Oh, it's a floater. Oh, okay, nothing to worry about. Hi? Hello? Is that a bell? Did we just get smacked from behind? It just says bonk in the top right. Oh, nope, we got bonked in the dungeon. Oh no. Wendy, no window at all. What eye did she got? Please sign me up. I'd like to know how the hell we got down here. What? Oh, and we're still in the dungeon. What the hell just happened? A throbbing pain in the back of my head. My vision slowly comes into focus. I can just barely make out a figure kneeling beside me. An attacker? Hello? Who's there? Are they staring at me? Figuring out how to dissect me? Focus, Graeldon. Play it cool. I can figure this out. Near me lies a small pile of stones. If I discreetly grab the biggest one, I can defend myself. Am I really gonna do this? It's do or die, Graeldon. Do or die. In one swift motion, I grab a chunk of stone off the floor and spring up from the ground, preparing to strike back at my assailant. Dong! I drop the stone as I'm whacked in the head again. Now, the only thing I will say here is like this is kind of like nice dynamic writing. It's built a good bit of tension. The sound effect doesn't quite match the objects being used. It sounded more tinny or metallic. Did not sound like that hefty thunk of solid stone. It was almost comedic in that way, and it kind of like pulls out. So that would be one bit of feedback that I would pass on to the devs, is like the selection of your sound effects to match what is actually being used and happening. It's going to make a bit of an impact. Yeah, it's a playful bonk. Absolutely. Bonk! I drop the stone as I'm whacked in the head again. Ah!
Wait, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. I'm sorry for hitting you.
Yeah, they just dropped something there that maybe did sound... Okay, yeah, I take it back. Maybe it wasn't the bonk of me bonking something, it was the bonk of something else bonking me. Possibly a metal stick, or rod, or hopefully a crowbar. Head still throbbing. I can just barely make out the attacker backpedaling towards the center of the room as I cradle the 2 new bumps on my head.
Okay, I'll put my hands up, alright? Truce.
Yeah, it's a love dungeon. The bonks are playful and complimentary. Hi. Who are you and why do you have bells on your wrist? At least at night, I like that that is there because it accounts for why we've heard the bell sound. Bit of dust and grime, which is thematically appropriate, tells me that she's been down here for some time already. The silver-haired girl stands before me, holding her trembling hands up, palms stained with mud. A rusty metal rod lies at her feet, no doubt the weapon she just bludgeoned me with moments earlier. Great, now I need a tetanus shot. She wears a dark leather ensemble, made even darker by the disgusting conditions of the cellar. A small golden bell hangs off a red strap adorning her arm. I absolutely adore it, and it sounds dumb that I have to say this, but I love it when the character description matches the character art. It just makes sense, right? Also, we've got a little bit of music that's kicking in now, which I'm guessing is like a character theme or something like that, because this is way too cheerful for us being trapped in a dungeon.
Hello? Are you okay? Did I hit you that hard?
You did hit me pretty hard. Yeah. Sorry. Despite her shaky tone of voice, she still smiles uneasily. What kind of psycho smiles after nearly killing someone in a musty cellar?
Well, I had a good reason.
And what reason is that?
I thought you were someone else.
So you hit me in the head with a metal rod.
Yeah, I guess that did happen.
Twice?
Yes, twice. Okay, how long are you gonna hold that over my head? And speaking of holding things over my head...
Her arms tremble as she struggles to hold them up. You can put your hands down now.
Phew, I was starting to get tired.
And I like they played the sound effects because, yes, she moved her arms. So, yeah, thematic. I like it. Who are you? Her tone lightens as her smile grows even wider.
Oh, I'm Lilith. My friends call me Lily. Who are you and how'd you get here?
Lilith. There is no way in literal hell that this is going to go badly for me. Also, I think she might be a fun fantasy character, given that she appears to have at least 3 belts. Maybe not. The majority of her clothing isn't made out of belts, so I don't know if that classifies, to be honest. I was going to ask the same thing.
You first.
Yeah, I'll answer you. Why not? Let's be the gullible fool for this playthrough. I reluctantly tell her my name.
Wow, what an interesting name. Nice to meet you.
What's with the bell?
Oh, you certainly are a curious one, aren't you?
There's not really much else to talk about down here, if I'm being honest.
So, how'd you get here?
Now who's the curious one?
Well,
You also didn't answer my
something got me
question.
there.
Anyway, I don't really know. I just woke up here. Fangtu should point out that her artwork behind the text has a different tone of color for the cellar lighting. That's cool. Yeah, it does actually slightly. That's a nice touch. And actually, even the lighting is kind of appropriate with... no, the shadows it's casting I think is generic. That's not in relation to where the light is at all. That's fine.
I've been here for a while. You're the first other person I've seen here, though.
How long is a while? I am very concerned about you, Lilith. What do you mean? Like, the first other prisoner down here?
Prisoner? Well, I guess I'm a prisoner when I think about it. I haven't seen another person in a long time.
You seem awfully enthusiastic for someone locked in a basement.
Well, it's just nice to see a fresh face.
So, why'd you try to kill me? Who did you mistake me for?
Well, let's not talk about that. Maybe you can help me find a way out of here, though.
Now, maybe I missed it before, but I think that's the first time I've seen a facial expression change on a character model. I was wondering if they were going to do that, because I noticed before that the art in the bottom left never really seemed to change. which is something that I've obviously seen in other visual novels, is those dynamic character portraits. So I was wondering if they would do it here, and it looks like they are, but they're keeping it subtle. It's not being overused. I feel like this is kind of a big topic to just drop. Wait, why can't we just go out the door?
Oh, you think I haven't tried that? You really underestimate me.
I don't even, and I cannot stress this enough, I don't even know you.
If you just got here, does that mean you don't know about the curse?
Well, that's foreboding. The curse? Why'd you say it all dramatically like that? The curse.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to give it some flair, I guess. It's not like I've had a chance to talk to anyone lately.
DJ MV, thank you for stopping by. Gotta get some sleep. We'll be back for me. More streams. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by and checking out the channel. Have a great nap, whatever time it is for you. Yeah, watch out for the curse. Or the cures, apparently, according to Zoyboy. Watch out for the cures. They're somehow worse than the curse. Sadly, yeah, she's awfully keen on not talking about things you ask her about. Yeah, I've asked some pointy questions and she's dodged all of them, and my character has just blatantly ignored that. How long have you been down here? She looks down, counting on her dirt-stained fingers.
13,501 days, 13 hours, and 25 minutes, and a handful of seconds.
Okay, that's not normal to know that, but also let me do some quick math here. I'm sorry. That is 37 years. Now, I don't know about you, but she doesn't look like she's 37 years old. Oh, no. Pickled people, g'day, mate. Back again. Really annoyed you. I mean, not really pickled people, but thanks for stopping by. Hello, hello. Zoyboy saying typo again. Hang on, are you talking about typo that you made in something you said, Zoyboy, or did I miss a typo on the actual screen here? Because this all looks like all fine so far. Yeah, you know, she's been down here 37 years. She's obviously very self-sufficient. I think we could probably leave her down here. I think that's going to be totally fine. Okay. Yeah, the lack of sunlight is very good for her skin. I think everyone here is actually just a vampire. Hey, they actually address it. Nice. Wait a minute. That's like 40 years or something.
Wow, you're really good at math.
I mean, not really. I was a few years off.
Anyway, I told you it was a long time.
You gotta be messing with me. You don't even look 20.
Well, I was around that age when I first came down here.
I mean, pickled people, I agree, she is fine. That makes you nearly 60 now.
Really? Do I look good for an old lady?
She cracks up at her own joke. Her laughter is a bit infectious, but I managed to maintain my focus. I accidentally skipped that. Hang on. This is why we need a... Did I miss it yet? I just said explain yourself. Cool.
Okay, well, there's this curse that has so tragically befallen this house. You see, and the others, and I tried to stop it, but by then it was too late, and...
Okay, so she definitely believes that there is a curse. Wait, slow down. What do you mean by the others?
My friends, they were somewhere in this house, too. I wonder if they found a way out by now. They wouldn't leave without me, right?
Sure. Okay. Look, this has been fun. I'm gonna get out of here if that's okay with you.
No, you can't use the door. The curse.
Well, will you look at that? Oh no. Oh, that's very unfortunate. Are you telling me that in your 37 years of being down in this dungeon, you never tried the door? Awkward!
What the f...
Hey, self-censoring. Nice.
Whoa, did it feel weird when you opened it?
So bad news. The mansion definitely was a little less dusty before I took a nap. So, I'm guessing the party started and the butlers got fired. That's probably what happened here. I'm sure it's fine. Also, the AC stopped working. It's very unfortunate. The Wi-Fi's gone as well. The door? I think it was just a normal door.
If you're able to unlock the doors here, that changes everything. This means that you
Can open doors. I know. Opposable thumbs. They're a new thing. I get it. This is wild. This is new information to you, I'm sure. I am the chosen one because I have thumbs. I just opened the door. Don't make it sound like I have any special powers or something. Wait a minute. Expecting to return to the gilded lobby of Elisa's glorious mansion, what lies before us is the dilapidated ruins of said room. Piles of rubble and debris cake the formerly pristine marble floors as sludge drips from the numerous holes in the ceiling. What the...
Do you believe me now?
Let's go with yes. Dang, Elise really went all out on these decorations. She's gonna be pissed when she finds out her prisoner escaped the cellar, though.
Stop it. This isn't some kind of Halloween prank.
Unless it is. Positive thinking.
It is Halloween, right? See, I made a rock calendar down there, and I'm like 90% sure that today is...
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but did you see my rock calendar while you were down there? You should look.
You're a little too proud of this rock calendar, my girl. QWERTY... What is that name? QWERTY True QWERTY. Great name. You've combined 3 QWERTYs into one. That's actually kind of clever. Yes, I am an actual person with a real face. Apologies. I am human. The voice acting is actually decent. Yeah, I agree. They found some good talent for this, and honestly, when you're making a game like this, you need to have quality voice actors to make this land. If your voice actors can't deliver a line, like me, everything falls apart. Yeah, forgot to wipe the shoes before entering. Dang it, Fang, come on. Like, we trusted you here, man. Sandra, Pressure can keep track of day and night for 40 years there accurately. Been doing I think it was a fun little reference to, was it Dr. Stone? Where the character basically gets petrified, but the brain keeps ticking over and basically counts every second. I think it's just a little nod to that. But yes, you're very proud of your rock calendar. Shit, you're telling me this is all real? I should probably take this a little more seriously then. Alright, explain the curse to me.
Oh, okay. Very well, young one. Today you shall hear Lilith's tale of the curse.
Okay, I like that. I mean, this is meant to be a little bit camp and a little bit cheesy, you know, paying homage to the old Resident Evil games, so this feels appropriate. Also, little music change there. Like, so far the music's been pretty on point. It's very ambient, very foreboding. She waves her fingers in the air in an attempt to craft an air of mystery. Ooh. It's not working.
Okay, fine. You're no fun.
She begins to explain as we pace around the remains of the lobby.
When we first came down here, we all felt like there was something weird about this place, like a haunted house or something.
You know what? Bear with me one sec. I think I just need to turn the light off in here. Bam! It's still bright, and I can't do anything about that. The sun is setting, though, but this just makes it feel a little bit, you know, a little bit more than sitting around a campfire, listening to a haunted story.
After a few nights here, none of us could get any sleep.
Well, that's because of all the sex you were having.
And not like, you know, just because I don't have my pillow with me or something, but because every time we did, nightmares. They were super real ones, too.
I mean, I don't know how to explain that anyway, other than that the nightmare feels real when you're in it, but it doesn't when you're awake. That's kind of how nightmares work.
Every single night I'd wake up in a cold sweat, so afraid that I didn't dare try to sleep again.
Yeah, evidently you did.
It got so bad that eventually...
When alone.
Ugh, can you believe this? Those were white roses from England. What has become of our once beloved home?
She's back. Also, Pickled People, I just misread your message terribly, saying, I'm gonna have to go shower. You said, I have to go shower, boys, wish me luck, but I misread that as, I have to go shower with my boys, wish me luck. This is unknown territory. I'll be back. And that just made me giggle. So thank you. Unintentional, but it gave me a chuckle. What did become of your once beloved home?
Chill. We'll figure it out, dude.
Don't call me dude, Zachary. You know how I hate such uncultured language. Where did you even learn to speak that way?
It's the internet?
Well, where did you learn to speak like a Victorian Duchess? We're not even British.
Thank you, game, for actually addressing that.
Ugh, how are we even related?
Sometimes I wonder if we are.
Elise walks into view, clutching a bouquet of withered flowers in one hand and the cracked remains of a porcelain vase in the other. Z stares at the ceiling, unperturbed.
More new friends?
Yeah, Lilith, I don't think you're meant to be here. But where is Nuri? Oh.
Ugh!
Elise hurls the vase, smacking Lilith in the head and sending her crumpling to the ground. I put my hands up, preparing for confrontation. Elise? I knew you would pull something like this eventually. What have you done with Nuri? Elise turns towards me, just now noticing my presence.
Oh, hello, dear. Nori? Oh, dear. Where is she? Zachary, have you seen her?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet. Elise sighs while rolling her eyes.
Well, it's wonderful to see a familiar face. Help us sort this out, will you? This place is a mess.
You don't want to tell me why? Explain what's going on? What happened here? Sensing no hostile intent from Elise as she picks the dirt from under her manicured nails, I slowly lower my guard. Wait, so you're saying you didn't cause all of this? She looks around in confusion before pointing at herself.
Who, me?
She scoffs.
Please.
I was close.
Did I go as far as ransacking my own mansion just to frustrate you? If I wanted you gone, I would simply kill you myself. I mean, anyway, what exactly is going on here?
I'm wondering the same thing, Elise. I'm glad we're on the same page. I look down at Lilith's unconscious body surrounded by porcelain shards. You just knocked out the only person who knows what's happening here.
Huh. Fabulous.
Oh, we're just going to leave it at that. Okay. So, you don't know how we got here either.
I arrived the same way you did. I simply woke up down the hall over there.
Z2?
Yes, Zachary as well. Ugh, will you quit it with that look? I already said I was sorry, Lala dear.
You're just going to call me Lala dear now. I have a name.
It's Lilith!
Oh, right. Sorry, you're talking to Lilith. My bad. Should have known that. Raven, you know when you hold a party at your parents' house while they're out, usually you got to clean up trash, but yeah, not like this. This is a little more extreme.
I said I'm sorry.
My name is...
Anyway, Leia, what has become of my lovely home? And why do I no longer have cell service?
They did have cell service before. Hey, we called it. Lilith raises her hand in protest as I check my phone as well. It's dead. Elise tosses her phone away as Lilith leaps to catch it, examining in awe while fiddling with the side buttons. I mean, yeah, she's never seen a phone before. She's 60-something years old now and hasn't been outside for 37 years.
Wait, this is a phone? It's so tiny. How does it work? Where are the numbers?
Okay, so I think it's possible that none of these people instigated this. maybe. Z is still suspicious to me. However, there's one of two things happening here. Either you simply don't age while you're in the mansion because of the curse, or something about the mansion or something happens in the mansion that is turning all these people into vampires, and therefore they remain at the age they were when they got transformed. I'm going with vampires. Feels likely to me. Ignoring Lilith's questions, Elise procures another phone from inside her plaid skirt.
Ugh, even my other phone is dead.
Of course you have two phones. Why do you have two phones?
I've said too much.
Elise rolls up her off-white sleeve to reveal a luxury watch. It's diamond encrusted. Hands are frozen in place.
My watch is broken too? It can't still be 109.
That means I fell asleep within 9 minutes of entering the mansion. That's actually kind of impressive. Lilith sighs, unable to get a word in amongst Elisa's clucking. So, we all just woke up here, and none of us know why. Lilith, maybe you should tell us what's going on. Lilith furrows her brow, rubbing the growing bump on her head as Elise casually examines her phone, blowing dust off the screen. What do you think hurts worse, being hit with a vase or a metal rod twice?
Well, as I was trying to say...
Go on. Elise whistles while staring at her pristine red nails. Z appears to be intently focused on a bug on the ground. It might not even be a bug. I think he's staring at a small pebble he thinks is a bug. Maybe he knows it's a pebble? Shit, now I'm getting distracted too. Maybe just give us the condensed version, Lilith.
Fine, okay. This mansion is cursed. Everyone who stays here has constant nightmares and the sun never rises. It's absolute hell. There.
Yeah. That doesn't sound great on a travel brochure, does it? Come to the mansion! Everything is cursed! Experience nightmares. Yeah, no, I don't think that'd sell. The sun hasn't risen in nearly 40 years.
I mean, I was locked in the basement for most of the time, but before that, I'm pretty sure.
How long were you here before that?
Hold on. What's stopping us from just leaving? You said you came out of the basement, right?
You didn't find anything down there, did you?
It's where she hid the sex toys. What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
That's part of the curse. I've been locked in the basement until now, and all my friends are trapped somewhere in the mansion. At least, I think they are.
Well, more importantly, why are we here?
We're here to find the friends.
That's the part I don't get. All these years and nobody else has showed up here?
You know what? Let me just try going outside real quick.
Z's gonna die.
Don't!
Seriously? What is this magic mumbo-jumbo, dude? Telling us we just showed up here and now we can't leave?
There's always going to be one character that gets sacrificed early on in order to really just raise the stakes a little higher. Sorry, Z, it's been nice knowing you. Z gestures towards me with his hands.
Come on, dude. You don't believe this stuff, do you?
I believe her, actually. This is very wrong. I believe Lilith. I don't think she'd lie.
Oh, you trust me? Really?
Should I not? Her eyes light up with newfound excitement.
No, you should. It just means a lot.
In any case, I'm getting out of here.
Interesting, there was actually a slight difference there because that line didn't include the to me part. Again, it's minor, but I think it just goes to show that the voice actors were taking a little bit of liberty with the lines to kind of really make them personalized. I don't think that's a bad thing, but it does just mean that part of the editing process is going back through and making sure that the text that gets included matches what was actually delivered. It's tiny. Lilith is absolutely a demon name, yes. Diablo 4 featured Lilith as one of the main characters. Yeah, if it's not magic, I'm more afraid. Imagine this happening without magic. Science! And then Nuri shows up on the other side of the door. He walks past Lilith, who holds her hand out in a feeble attempt to stop him.
Look, it's as simple as turning the knob.
He pulls his hand back in pain as the doorknob sizzles, glowing red like the coils of a blazing oven.
My hand!
He clutches his wrist, shaking his burned palm in disbelief.
What the hell is this?
He looks to his right.
Fine. I'll try the window.
Stubborn. Panic rising in his voice, he runs to one of the many front-facing windows, hastily attempting to unlatch it while shaking his right hand in an attempt to numb the pain.
Shit! Won't budge.
I was half expecting him to get burned by that one too. That would have been hilarious. Burns one hand on the doorknob, burns the other hand on the window latch, and it's just like, ugh!
Zachary, I really don't think you should touch that.
Shut up! I'm getting out of here.
His eyes dart around the room as he searches for answers, thoughts appearing to race through his mind with each passing moment. Yeah, he's losing it. He breathes heavily as his eyes settle on a nearby coat rack. He tightly grips it with his good hand and backs away from the window, pulling it back like a javelin. Z, don't try it.
You underestimate my power.
That is what all good villains say just before they die. You underestimate my power!
Really, Zachary?
I think he watched too much anime, mate. He flings the brass rack forward. Dunk! The coat rack never connects with the window, instead passing straight through and disappearing. The walls themselves seem to emit a low wail that quickly crescendos into a harsh screeching.
What in the world is that awful sound?
It's called synth. Also, it's Zachary's voice actor.
It's a curse. Quick, come with me.
Lilith sprints away from the front wall as the screeching intensifies into a deafening roar. Elise and I exchange brief glances as we run behind Lilith.
What the hell is that?
Oh no, keep running!
I briefly glance back as Z stares into a void of pure darkness, erupting from the window like a volcano, enveloping him whole and quickly filling the entire room.
Zachary!
Elise stops in her tracks and covers her eyes in horror. Elise! There's no time to stop! I grab her by the wrist and keep running as she whimpers in fear. Z cries helplessly as the mist of darkness claims him and continues to spread, overflowing into the main lobby with the force of a raging typhoon.
We need to get away from it.
There's no time! Goodbye. Well, nice knowing you, Z. It's been a pleasure. Cheers to you, mate.
Ugh, what a disgusting experience. Almost as bad as that time I had to take the bus to school.
I'm sorry, wasn't Z your brother? Your brother dying is comparable to taking a bus. You're a horrible person.
Isn't that normal?
Being surrounded by such noise and all that filth? Ugh.
Well, you're going to be next to die then.
You're mean.
Elise scans the room, searching for traces of Graeldon.
Well, in any case, where do you suppose he went?
Went back to bed. Oh, back to the basement. I needed to check out that rock calendar, actually. It really sounded interesting. Here again? Was all that a dream? I look at my hands, making a fist with my left. It's sticky, like it's been covered in tar. That definitely just happened. How did I end up in the cellar again? I struggle to my feet. It feels like every bone in my body has been beaten to hell and back. Well, partially because Lilith did beat me up, but even worse now. It's dark, but I can see a little better now. I should get out of here. Here's the string that turns on the light. You look different. You're not Lilith. I don't see your bell. Missing a lot of your red highlights as well. And your hair's changed colour. You know, subtle details. Whoa. Damn, Lilith, you scared me there. She stares without saying a word. Are you alright? We should get out of here. Did that black stuff make your hair darker? It's not a bad look, honestly. Alright, you don't have to say anything. We should probably find the others. Also, just fair warning in case it comes up later, this game does have an epilepsy warning at the start. Probably should have mentioned that earlier, apologies, but thankfully we've been fine so far. But just given we're getting into a little bit more action, heads up. That is a very effective blank stare that is just slightly disconcerting. Makes me feel like with enough of a pause, there is going to be a jump scare. That's just that little bit of tension. It's good. You coming? Let's go. Hey, what are you... Awkward.
I didn't find him anywhere. Do you think he ended up in another room somehow?
I mean, yeah, I can use doors.
Well, it would appear we've lost yet another buffoon. Shame, really.
At least sighs, recalling the few fond memories she had of Graeldon.
I was quite all right with him, even though he had a nasty habit of going into lengthy monologues.
Really? Pot calling the kettle black?
How can you say that about him? We lost your brother, too.
Well, I am the sole heir to the family fortune now.
Hell yeah, you're a terrible person.
Are you some kind of sociopath? Maybe I was better off in the cellar.
Oh, relax, Lyra. Believe me when I say I'm just as inspired to get out of here as you are.
Lyra now, perfect.
For the last time, my name is...
So anyway, how shall we escape?
Escape? No, we have to save 7. No, 8. Wait, 9. No, wait. No, 7 people now.
Math is hard.
Oh, unfortunately, dear, I have no intention of finding anyone. My utmost priority is leaving this forsaken place. Alive,
thanks, Sandra.
preferably.
I was quite alright with him, even though he kept rating things as a random object out of 10. I'm gonna have to rate each of these girls as a random object out of 10, aren't I? And I think we just discovered what Elise is. It's a black pot out of 10. Lilith, we don't know yet. Probably memory loss out of 10.
Also, 7? I'm looking for 2 people at most. How did you procure another 5?
I mean, we were here for a party.
My friends, I haven't seen them in so long.
Well, I don't care about any of that, dear. I just want to go home.
I'm not saying I just miss them, that's all.
I mean, bad news, they're probably dead. Elise gazes at the door and then the window. Don't do what your brother did.
It seems like I have no choice but to rely on you to find a way out. Perhaps we'll find some of your friends along the way as well.
That's a start, I guess.
Yeah, very reassuring. Not.
I don't know if we can get out of this room. I was locked in the cellar for so long.
You know what? The fact that I'm like putting in these little digs and comments and things is just a good sign of strong character writing. The characterization in this is really good. You can really get a sense of their personalities, one being more brash, one being more timid. This is actually really well written. Zari, hello! Couldn't join earlier today. Think you recognize this game? Possibly. This game, by the way, for anyone who's like getting interested in the story and doesn't want to spoil themselves, this is free to play. You can go and download this off Steam right now if you want to. Or you can enjoy the rest of the stream and then skip through some content and pick up wherever we leave off at the end of this, because we're not going to be able to finish this in one stream. This is like a 6-hour-long game, and with me playing it, it's probably going to be at least 9, because that's how time works when you're streaming.
Okay, well, let's see. This one? The cellar door?
Yes, come down and rescue me, please. The door handle doesn't seem to react as Elise approaches it, her delicate red nails wrapping around the doorknob without any ill effect.
How did you...
Lilith really struggles with doors.
Well, that certainly wasn't what happened when my brother tried it. I don't suppose we have much reason to go back down to the basement, though.
You can let me out.
Are the other doors unlocked now? This changes everything.
That smile is slightly creepy, though.
Lord, you are a loud creature.
Hang on a second. Lilith having approximately 7 extra friends. What do you reckon the odds are that some of these characters are going to be personifications of the deadly sins? Because Lilith is usually associated with lust. Yeah, we could be onto something here. It's a theory. Lilith runs around the room with her hands in the air, screaming like a child who just finished her last day of school.
Lilith, dear?
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Calm
down.
You said my name right.
Well, the plan? Surely you have some sort of plan, yes?
I think my friend Amelia was studying the curse in the library. That would be a good place to start. Maybe she knows a way out.
Well,
No, she
that
hasn't
sounds like a
yet.
promising endeavor.
There's still time, Xander, don't worry.
Oh, yes, Emmy is a smarty pants. I'm sure she's figured something out by now.
Well, if she's still stuck in the library after half a century.
Hey.
Okay, so she's aware of the time thing as well.
Okay, let's go, dear.
Or at the very least, believes it. The two begin their way across the vast expanse of marble towards the library, which lies behind a towering pair of double doors.
So, dear, what's with the bell?
Why does everyone keep asking about my bell?
Because it's weird.
It's either that or you tell me why you're wearing so many belts.
Hey, they address the belts. I love it. I love a little bit of self-aware humor.
I gave a bell to all the others, too. It's a symbol of our friendship.
Why, you are just precious.
Okay, that didn't sound very sincere.
It sounded very British, though. Well done.
Now, dear, we have a library to visit.
We do have a library to visit. To the library. The library is home to handcrafted wooden shelves that reach from the floor to the 20-foot ceiling, towering oak ladders scattered around the room for access to the upper shelves. Ah, Pablo Garcia Perez, hello. How do I suggest a community game? Firstly, welcome to the stream. Welcome. How do you suggest a community game? So, what we are doing in these community spotlight ones, these are games that have been created by members of the community. So if you're a game developer, just join our Discord, link is in the description, and you can send me a message or pop it into the channel content, and we'll discuss and figure out when we want to showcase your game. If you're wanting to suggest something that is by someone else, that would be more appropriate for our weekend streams, which are our, I'm going to forget the name and everything because I'm very, very tired, Wheel of Misfortune streams, which are actual community suggested games that basically go into a big wheel, we spin and see what we're going to play for the next 30 minutes. If you want to suggest a game for that to get featured because you've got something interesting, the criteria for it is it needs to have less than 200 reviews, And you need to be a member of the channel, which starts as little as $1 per month. And again, that's over on the Discord. You'll find a members only section on there where you can suggest games. Alternatively, if you don't want to sign up for membership, that's totally cool. You do you. You can also just head over to the Discord and pop it into the relevant channel and see if someone else is interested in your game and wants to submit it on your behalf. So those are your different ways that you can submit games to be played on the channel. Thousands of books spanning centuries of writing are contained here, although at least a few decades worth are strewn about the now filthy marble floor, covered in dust and debris. Pablo, I feel you on that one, don't worry. If it's any consolation, keep in mind that everything that I want to play on the channel or is suggested by the community, I have to purchase it. So this ain't cheap for me either, mate. Keep that in mind.
My dear father's library. Ugh, how disgusted he would be to see it in such a state.
You said you lived here?
Yes. In fact, let me see.
Elise picks a dusty tome off the ground, blowing away a thick layer of dust before cracking it open.
Huh. So, I don't recognize any of these books. How peculiar.
I see what the problem is here, Elise. They're not picture books. You need to be able to actually read to identify these. She drops it back on the ground with a dull thud, rousing a mushroom cloud of dust that assaults both of the girls' senses. Raven, be glad no one's picking you the $200 scam games off sale. I mean, that's true, but we have put a cap on the amount, so people can suggest whatever games they like, but if it is over $50, it's my choice whether or not I actually want to purchase it or not. Pickle People have been making a text-based adventure game. This is your first game to be coded in Python. Intriguing! Good on you for getting in and doing some game dev. That's exciting. Again, head over to the community. We've got a game dev channel, so if you want to share what you're working on or get some ideas and feedback from other people, that's the place to do it. There we go. Sanders already asked you some questions. What library are you using for that? My game. I'm not a game dev myself, so can't offer any advice, but just want to offer encouragement. Good on you, mate. Bless you.
Oh, my apologies.
That was actually a very realistic sneeze. Good job.
But yes, my family and I lived here with our dear and faithful companions, Alfred and Jeeves.
Wow, what do your parents do to afford a place like this?
I would love to know that too.
Yes. Well,
You don't know?
Do you know who your parents are? Lilith slaps her forehead in disbelief. Great, that was a good sound effect. Great choice.
So what exactly do you do with your life other than be rich?
I mean, that sounds like living the dream, to be honest.
Oh, I have other qualities.
Yes, I'm a bit of a snob.
Well, where is your dear friend, anyway?
A single hand raises in the air above the stacks of dusty literature. Lilith cracks a relieved smile upon seeing a familiar face. Familiar hand.
Emmy!
Oh. Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you. A head of blue hair peeks up from the skyscrapers of stacked knowledge as Amelia looks up at her old friend.
Took you long enough. Have you figured out how to get us out of here?
So you've just been awake this whole time and didn't hear the screaming downstairs and, come check it out? Just been waiting here in the library this entire time. Amelia. Lilith leaps onto Amelia, screaming enthusiastically.
Oh, I missed you.
Amelia plays it cool and rolls her eyes, eventually cracking a smile anyway.
Yeah, I guess I missed you too.
Now this is good casting. Here I feel the voice matches the actual appearance and style of the character quite nicely.
So, you haven't met anyone else yet?
The problem is that I am a sucker for these types of characters, and instantly Amelia is now my favourite, and I trust her with my life despite knowing absolutely nothing about her.
Oh, you're the first one we came to. What an honor, right?
I was going to say this is a very interesting choice now, moving the character away from the player and giving you a little less ownership and control over the story. It is very much an on-rails experience, and that's totally fine, but it is interesting when you introduce a player character and then purposely push them away for the purpose of driving the narration forward.
Oh, stop. You'll make me blush.
Kind of want to play through a bit more and see what the reasoning for that was.
Oh, Emmy, this is a person who's helping me. Meet Elise.
Amelia, correct? Charmed, I'm sure.
Charmed, I'm sure. Also, one thing I will say about the art style is it does suffer from a little bit of same face. Especially if you look at the smiles. It's a little bit samey. There's a lot of characterization happening in the outfits. And I am curious if this is going to do the anime trope where none of the characters can have the same hair color. Amelia scoffs. Or if they do have the same hair color, one of them has to die.
Your dye job has lasted 40 years. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I think Elise gets her money from acting rich and British, and then it just spawns in. Exactly. It's like having a supernatural ability. If you act in a certain way, the universe will just give you what you need to make that your reality.
Unless, don't tell me your hair is naturally blue. What kind of radioactive fallout have you been exposed to?
Yeah, I grew up in Japan. Ooh, too soon. Amelia doesn't seem interested in engaging in any of Elise's shenanigans.
So how did you do it? I haven't been able to open that door in ages.
Elise looks around the room before pointing at herself in surprise.
Oh, you're asking me?
Who else?
Well, for some reason, I didn't expect to be the one answering questions. Anyway.
Oh, no, I actually get to voice Elise's character a little bit. I mean, not literally voice the character, but I get to choose a response. We are still... Actually, no, let's face it. Elise would say, I'm just gifted. If it was my character, I'd probably say still figuring it out. A little bit more honesty. But Elise's character is very forward and very self-assured. She would definitely say, I'm just gifted.
Well, you know, dear, when you're as gifted as I am.
Yeah, come on. That sounds incredibly natural coming from her. Amelia's look is kind of visual kei, which was 1980s Japanese trend, so I guess that checks out if she's been there for 40 years. Yeah, actually, good point. They've done their research. And look, she is indeed wearing a bell. So we can confirm that it's definitely Lilith's friend.
Uh-huh. What else
Which
have you learned?
I think is going to be important later.
Well,
Oh, hush, Elise.
Yeah, Visual Kei also inspired a lot of the Final Fantasy / Digimon Too Many Belts look. I mean, it's not a bad look though, is it?
Let's play.
I'm sorry, is now the time for playing?
This is more important. Ah!
Amelia casually strolls back to her stack of heavily bound tomes, Lilith clinging to her back like a needy child.
Carry me.
She eventually relents, giving Lilith a piggyback ride the rest of the way.
you are all certainly a strange group of people.
For once, Elise, I agree. Lilith hops off Amelia's back and picks up one of the nearby books.
Wait, you really read all of these?
What else could I have done all this time?
I mean, yeah, if you're trapped in a library, at least you got something to do. Poor Lilith, trapped in a cellar just using rocks to pass the time. Amelia had books. Lilith flips through the musty text, careful not to tear the pages, which have become yellow and brittle with age. Amelia returns to the book she was last reading.
I thought you were researching the curse.
I got bored.
I am.
This is a comic book.
You got me.
I'll have you know it's called manga. It's art, Lily.
Yeah, I'm on Amelia's side here. Lilith picks up another, flipping through it before dropping it and moving on to the next one.
How many of these are comic books?
Well...
Lilith exclaims in surprise as she drops the book she was reading, rousing another small dust explosion as it lands.
Oof, that one was dirty.
Well, they're all dirty. This place is disgusting.
No, not like that, but like, oof.
Oh, that kind of dirty.
Emmy, have you been sitting here reading naughty comics for the past 40 years?
Oh no. Amelia, you're closeted.
It's...
Oh no.
all.
So Amelia, about that dungeon.
Well,
Explains
what have
the
you
leather.
been doing? It's boring here.
Well, I was locked in a cellar, playing with rocks and counting every passing second.
I mean, it's pretty bad here too. My butt is kind of sore from sitting on this marble floor.
You had plenty of benches that you could have sat on.
Emmy.
Okay, fine. You had it worse.
She points to the far corner of the
The
room.
books about the curse are all over there. They weren't much use, though.
Why not?
Well, let's look, shall we?
Yeah, now we're in the basement. Lucky us. Let's see how much we get to count to before we finally get rescued. "70 years later." A disheveled stack of tomes lies in a heap, each made of its own distinct material and bearing a unique color.
These are all books about the curse.
This one definitely is. Look at that. Look at that. Who just like casually puts chains and a skull as their binding for a book? You know, it would just be brilliant if you opened that up and it's like my favorite recipes for making cakes from the last 50 years. These are the family recipes that have been passed down for generations. Oh, and then on the final page is just quickly scribbled like the cure for the curse.
Not just that. Look inside.
Lilith picks up a heavy black tome bound in chains, a metal skull decorating the front cover. Elise picks up a deep red tome adorned with a crystalline teardrop.
Huh. The Curse of Midnight.
The Curse of Midnight?
Well, it was a bit early. Got us at 1 p.m. Lilith raises her brow before turning to the next page.
Beasts of the dark extinguish the light.
The Curse of Midnight is a never-ending plight.
Elise squints and shakes her head in confusion.
Run as you might. Shortly it will take hold.
Close your eyes, for it will soon have your soul.
What the hell is this?
Right?
Hold and soul don't even rhyme. Oof, what a shitty book.
Thank you. I was going to call that out, but I'm glad that the game did.
Well, yes, but actually...
It's not even midnight. It's like 1 in the morning.
Elise snatches the book out of Lilith's hands, replacing it with the teardrop volume. I actually really appreciate that, like, all of these, like, little subtle things that I'm calling out as jokes, the game actually calls them out as well. That's brilliant writing. It's predicting the player.
They're the same. I thought you were just reading off my page or something.
Wait a minute.
Elise delicately flips through the pages, slowly at first, before increasing to a frantic pace, her expression racked with concern.
It's not just the books.
Every page is the same.
Wild. Trapped in a library, but effectively only one book.
Like, what kind of person would buy the same thing twice just because it has a different cover?
More than you would expect. Assassin's Creed.
No, Lilith, it's because the books are cursed.
Are you sure?
Just like Assassin's Creed.
Lilith, darling.
Okay, I believe you guys. You wouldn't try to fool me.
Or would they?
Would you?
Yes, predicted it. Amelia exhales deeply while rubbing her temples.
Anyway, the point is, they weren't like this before. But only these few books were altered. And believe me, I have checked. Every single one.
I see you've done your research, Amelia. Good job. You're actually contributing. I appreciate that. You could only read one book, but at least you checked the rest of them.
You must be quite intelligent after inheriting such a wealth of knowledge, Amelia.
No, because they were all the same.
Well, that was the plan. I tried to look on the bright side. But after a while, all I could find were books about insider trading and serial killers.
Ah, perfect. Very normal books to read.
What? Preposterous. Whose books could those be?
So, Emmy, you're saying we have absolutely no info about the curse?
Yes, dear. You seem like you know at least a little about the curse. Where did you learn?
When we first came to the mansion, I could read the books just fine. In fact, I was reading the book when the curse first took hold for the first time. The next thing I knew, all the books were like that. Almost as if the curse knew I was reading about it. Since then, I've only had a chance to read the book in its original form once. It was recently, actually.
How recently?
About a few hours ago, I'd guess.
Ah, perfect. Right when we open the door.
Eh?
I can explain. Ever since
Please
that
do.
day, I've tried everything. At first, I thought the poem was some sort of secret. Like maybe a code that I needed to crack. I tried to match it to any sort of language or key I could get my hands on in here, but no luck. Besides, the poem is the same in every single book.
Just want to say the background music is an excellent choice. Haunting.
I thought maybe the pages might be reactive, but to what? UV light, the sun hasn't come out in years. But just today... Was it today? I don't know. Anyway, today I heard screaming from the lobby out there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that must have been us.
When that happened, the books began to react. For just a short while, they were normal again. I tried to grab one and read it as quickly as I could, but I only got through a little of it before the book snapped shut on its own. Next time I opened it, it was all cursed again.
How long was the book in that state?
Not long. Probably less than a minute.
Interesting.
But, well, I learned to read pretty quickly over the last few years.
Well, tell us what you learned.
Not much. Origins of the curse, the whole forever nighttime thing.
Fascinating.
Yep.
We
Okay.
need more information like this if we're to stand a chance of surviving this evening.
Is Elise actually being sensible?
But how do we make the book go back to normal? Which book was it?
Probably just need Elise to touch it.
That's part of the problem. I don't know which book it is.
And then all of a sudden this turns into like a hidden object style game. Like, no!
But dear, you read it yourself.
It was dark, okay? I couldn't make out the details. I just grabbed a random one.
How did you read it if it was too dark to see?
Listen, Lily, I don't have time for these questions.
Well, it sounds like you have nothing but time, dear.
Amelia slaps her forehead in exasperation as Lilith digs through the piles scattered on the floor.
Wait, are these all curse books? Maybe we can take all of them with us.
They're no use to us anyway. At least, not right now.
So
the
we need
books
to find
do
a way to make the
change.
book come back to life. You said it was when you heard screaming earlier, right? I'll just scream again.
Somehow I don't think it was the scream that did it, but you know what? Go for it.
No, darling, I don't believe that will be necessary.
What? Guys, I don't think it worked.
Yeah, sorry.
It did something, that much is certain. I will never hear properly again. Anyway, Lilith, what's stopping us from simply unlocking the door of this library?
You know what? Give it a try.
Elise waltzes to the library entrance, holding her palm inches away from the doorknob.
Nothing is happening.
What I will say is I appreciate that the pacing of the game is pretty good. There's a couple of bits where they've kind of gone over the same point a couple of times, but for a group of confused people thrown into a new situation, to an extent it makes sense, but I do hope they do a little less of it further on. It's like those things that games do. They're like, oh, you've been given a key. Wonder if there's a thing in this room that you could use the key on. Have you thought about using the key on that thing in the room? I wonder what keys are for. It's like just really hammering the point home a little too much. She steps closer, her hand inches away from the rusted knob. With great hesitation, she gingerly touches the doorknob with a single fingertip before pulling her hand back.
Ooh, hot as coals.
She blows on her finger before shaking it off.
So we can get in, but we can't get out?
Shit. So now I'm locked in here with both of you for eternity?
Who else would you rather be with than me?
Oh, maybe we need to look for clues, like an escape room.
Now you're thinking.
What's an escape room?
Oh yeah, you wouldn't know.
Oh, it's a lovely little puzzle thing. They lock you in a room, you have to find a way out.
Wait. Who's they? You pay people to lock you in a room?
Some of us do.
I feel like I'd pay more money not to be locked in a room.
What do you get if you win?
Well, nothing.
I mean, when you put it that way, it really does sound like a dumb thing that we do for fun, right? It's kind of weird when you explain it like that.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
This isn't like a weird bondage thing, is it?
I'm glad they addressed it.
You two are missing the point.
Lilith and Amelia chuckle, while Elise lets out a deep sigh.
In any case, clearly the curse is stopping us now. If we want to find any information in the book, we need to reproduce what happened earlier. So, tell me what happened to you guys out there.
Yeah, pick of people, I think I agree. The game seems great with the story. Not much player interaction though, so basically just getting everything from the game from this stream. It is meant to be a visual novel, which I think is absolutely fine, especially considering that it's a free game. I'm not expecting a huge level of depth when it comes to player choice. But what I am finding is that the player choices are probably a little too few and far between. It's the kind of thing where, to help keep the player engaged and feel like they're part of the story, you probably want to have, and I'm just making up a number on the spot here, I would say some kind of player interaction roughly every 5 minutes of gameplay, because too much more than that, you're gonna start to get distracted. And heck, for the younger generation, you probably need it more often than that. I think there are stats out there that have shown that for example, in videos, you need to have something interesting that happens roughly every, I think it's 7 to 9 seconds. Otherwise, your attention span drops off so quickly and you lose viewers. Same thing can happen in a game. If you don't have something at least relatively interesting happening on a frequent basis, you're going to lose a lot of characters. And this game is, I would say, in not a negative way, it's really riding on the strength of the writing and the voice acting, because there's not much else going on from a gameplay perspective. It would be nice to even have like a simple inventory where you can store items, which changes based on the character that is actually at the forefront at that particular point in time, which you might need to present to get the opinions of the characters or to use to solve a puzzle, or even just more conversational choices that change the flow of what's happening within a given scene. I don't think it needs to be massively in depth, but just a little more than what we've got. But again, the game is free, and for the quality that it's giving so far, if you are just wanting a narrative-driven experience, I really can't complain too much. If this were a $15 game, I'd probably critique it a little bit harder. But this costs nothing. And it's been pretty high quality, all things considered. Raven, yeah, we're getting into the more movie/show/book style visual novels now. They even got their own name. Yeah, in visual novels, there usually aren't that many choices. Yeah, and that's where it is a little bit different. Raven, and some people just want to pop it on auto and listen. It's like a radio talkie. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like, it'd actually be really nice to be able to just have the backgrounds like this and just let it auto play with the voices. And that way you're kind of just experiencing it like a low budget cartoon. In the nicest possible way. I don't want to be degrading or demeaning about it. I don't want to make it out for less than it is. But it is almost that experience where I would love to be able to just sit back and enjoy this in a way. Yeah, it's a sliding scale from visual novel to adventure game. This one's pretty far to the left in the visual novel area. But that's fine.
Well, we almost got eaten by the curse.
So you're saying...
What I'm hoping for is a little bit more development in some of the horror aspects, because so far it has gotten it's been a little slow getting to some of the real meat and potatoes, what this was promising from a game perspective. I want it to get there. Show me some of the horror. Make me worry for the lives of these characters that I'm actually attached to, not Z. She rubs her chin and furrows her brow, her gaze darting around the room at the various books scattered about.
My hypothesis is that we have actively cursed items. The doorknobs, the book... However this curse works, it's not all powerful. It can only curse a handful of items at a time.
Okay, interesting deduction.
Locking doors, messing with books... That's low energy stuff, I'd guess.
So the giant mass of black particles was high energy?
The curse ate my brother. Why does it not simply eat the books as well? We would never know how to combat it then.
That's a good point, Elise.
I think it has limited energy. Consuming something might knock it out for a while. Long enough that we might be able to escape.
Good to know that all we need to do is sacrifice someone to stun the monster and then we can leave.
We were out for a while after Z got eaten. Maybe that was enough time for it to recover.
So, you're saying that if we were able to somehow distract this curse, we could not only escape, but take the book with us as well?
That's what I'm thinking.
Pickle People, yeah, it seems great, and probably go and download it just because I didn't see the start of the stream. For what you're saying, there's more than one ending. It seems like there is more than one ending, yes. There is also an entirely additional game or like scenario by the looks of it that you can play after you finish the main story. Yeah, Dev said it's about 6 to 8 hours for a full clear, which is a pretty sizable amount of content.
Well, I'm in. How do we do it?
That's the real question, isn't it? Any ideas?
Yeah, scream louder. That'll do it. Let's... Oh, we could offer Amelia as a sacrifice. Ooh, it's sorely tempting. I have a feeling, though, that if we do this option, the game is going to do a little... Ha ha ha, funny, no, let's find a different way to do it. So if you're all cool with it, I kind of want to see what happens, because if I'm wrong, then things get really interesting. If I'm right, well then it's a whatever, kind of carry on. But there's potential in this option, and that's what makes it so appealing. The rest option is like, okay, yep, sure, whatever, but this one's interesting.
Amelia, dear, tell me, why does this curse not simply kill us? Surely it knows our intentions, it can hear us speaking, and yet this horror story is sorely lacking in the death department.
Elise gets it.
Lacking in the death department. So far.
Yes, correct.
Also, I'm a little bit bad. I would rather have killed off Elise and kept Amelia, but that's fine.
Good question.
I have an idea. Care to listen?
I'm all ears.
You're familiar with Greek mythology, yes?
Sure, I've read all the books in here about it.
Have you heard of the legend of Andromeda?
Oh no.
Have you two lost your minds? What the hell is wrong with you?
So in case you weren't aware, we're into bondage. It's a thing. Just roll with it. It's fine. Just relax. It's gonna be okay. You'll have fun. I promise. Promise.
Relax, dear. We'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
Do you think the curse will really fall for this?
Yes.
Get these goddamn chains off me! Where did you even find chains in here?
Great question. There were some conveniently wrapped around a book.
Oh, I have my ways.
Let me go, you crazy
Wasn't expecting that to make it in. Glad they self-censored that one. Yeah, it's better.
Elise, don't you think this is a little too far?
Yeah, that went from 0 to 100 real quick. The character hadn't even come close to a swear word before.
It's method acting, dear. You think the curse will fall for this if it doesn't truly feel our performance?
Oh, are you a theater major? Is that why you talk like that?
Talk like how, dear?
Never mind.
We're all wondering. Crazy cupcakes, yes. The two tie Amelia's chains to a nearby chair facing the window as she struggles to break free. They both turn around and put their hands over their eyes.
Oh, Midnight Curse, darling. Here's a sincere offering from us to you.
See no evil.
Is this really gonna work?
Well, what do we have to lose?
If Emmy breaks free, she might kill us herself.
Sorry. Sacrifices have to be made.
Oh, it appears our dear friend has shown itself.
Ooh, nice sound effects. Oh, hi! This looks different to last time. The walls around the library erupt into an army of open eyes, numbering in the hundreds. Each eyeball twitches and rolls in its socket before focusing on the chained Amelia.
Elise?
Yes, dear?
How did we plan on stopping the curse once it came out?
Oh, we're
Well,
not.
That is a very good question.
Swarms of venomous insects erupt from each eye, coalescing into a singular plague of locusts. The nascent cloud of pestilence envelops the room, swirling around Amelia's body as she struggles helplessly in an attempt to escape. Ooh, how evil do we want to be? I'm glad this isn't on a timer, because it absolutely could have been. I'm glad it's not. I don't think we need the books. Amelia's already read all the books, so we could just grab Amelia instead of them. Or we could just leave her. The bell, the sign of their friendship and trust, ringing as she struggles to break free of the chain. Yeah, that's a bit rough. We're going to free Amelia. Because the curse is now focused here, it can't also be cursing the door handle. Right? Let's do it.
Volunteer.
I probably should have saved at some point. What a time to sneeze.
Elise, wait!
Elise scrambles, tripping over the many pages scattered all around the carpeted floor on her way to Amelia, who has been nearly wholly engulfed by the swarm of insects erupting from the walls like 100 active volcanoes. She reaches out, attempting to untie the chains binding Amelia to the chair.
Oh, sorry, dear. Just a moment.
There's not enough time.
Elise's vision fills with darkness as the swarm descends upon her. She loses sight of Amelia, the chains, and all else.
Elise, Hemi!
Oh, we lost both of them. That's awkward. Oh gosh, this is the Dark Souls of visual novels. That's unfortunate.
You died.
Well, that was not the thing to do. Let's just skip ahead. We're gonna do all the books. We're in the books. We'll grab the books.
Lilith, the books.
The books?
Don't forget why we're doing all this.
Lilith nods, scrambling through the piles of literature towards the cursed tomes in the corner. As if possessing a mind of its own, the swarm briefly rises away from Amelia, drifting towards Lilith as she digs through the pile.
Drat.
Elise runs to the door on the opposite side of the room. Elise places her hand near the brass knob, cool to the touch and presumably non-lethal. The curse's power is focused in the swarm, after all.
Hypothesis correct. Curse, dear, I'll be departing now. You wouldn't want me to trot out of here untouched, would you?
I'll give you a quick rundown in a sec, Azazel. The mass of locusts appeared confused, unable to decide between stopping Elise, harassing Lilith, or murdering Amelia.
Heavens, no, dear. You don't want those two inferior specimens when you have one of superior bloodline right before you, do you?
Inferior specimen?
Dear Curse, you were drawn to my lovely mansion for a reason, right? Surely you'd rather possess me instead of the girl who plays with rocks or the, nerd with radioactive hair.
She makes a point. The curse seems to agree as the locusts assume the form of a coned spear, driving towards Elise with the force of a Category 5 hurricane. And out. Elise rolls out of the way as the torrent of bugs collides with the library door, denting the wood with a loud crack before dispersing as if exploding out of a cannon. Thousands of them fall dead on the ground as the swarm struggles to regroup. Lilith runs to Amelia, briefly dropping the pile of books to unchain her.
Lilith, this is the worst plan you have ever come up with!
Worst plan so far, you mean?
Enough rambling, dear. Which book do we use?
I don't remember!
But that's the problem. Amelia stomps her feet in protest as she throws her head back in anguish.
I hate bugs so much!
Give me something! Anything!
I really don't know!
Well, what are our options, Lilith?
The swarm begins to regroup, twisting like a tornado, as loose pages are blown about the room, sending books flying from the shelves.
The skull, the teardrop, and one with the tree.
Which book do you open? We really don't have anything to work with here. We were kind of told all three of them would have the same information. Zazel, quick rundown for you. We are our own character, currently not in this scene, but we are our own character, Graeldon. We were invited along with another character whose name I have now forgotten, but hopefully someone in the chat will remind me. Nuri? Something like that? We were going to this mansion which belongs to Elisa's parents as part of a Halloween party. We fell asleep, woke up in a basement, met Lilith, escaped, everything's gone to shit. Currently, all we know is that there's a curse. Someone has already died. Z is gone. We have no idea where Nuri is, and we're slowly meeting people that have been here for far longer than is humanly possible. Lilith was found in the basement with us, and she has been down there for 37 years. She kept count on a rock calendar. Very dedicated to the cause. Now we are trying to find some of the other friends of Lilith who were, I guess, caught in this mansion at the same time as she was. I've got no reason to pick one of these over the other, so we're going to go with the skull.
The one with the skull.
Oh, there we go. We've got an achievement saying select the correct book. Go me. 1 in 3 chance.
Ow, it pricked me.
Hurry!
Lilith cracks open the book, frantically flipping through the pages for an answer, as the massive tornado swarm grows larger with each passing second.
Page 243!
How do you know that?
I have a good memory! Read it out loud!
You have a good memory, but you couldn't remember which book we needed? No, you can remember the page, but not the book. Yeah, I don't believe you. You wanted us to get the wrong one by accident.
So you remember the page number, but you didn't remember which book it was?
And this is what the game does really well. It calls out things that the player's going to call out as well.
Shut up and read!
Lilith begins to recite a string of unintelligible noises, each more alien than the last. Clearly unsure of her pronunciation, she furrows her brow with each new syllable.
Samuel, Aramis,
Lilith raises an eyebrow upon reading the last words of the spell.
baby, you and I.
Baby, you and I don't think it's meant to end like that. Also, flashbang! Look at my face! Oh my god, it's so bright, the camera can't adjust. She screams as the tornado violently snaps towards her, dispersing mere inches from her face as the eyes lining the wall snap shut and disappear in an instant. I can see again. God.
Did it work?
I dunno, Lilith. Is there still a giant swarm of bugs about to kill you, or is it gone? I can't tell.
I think so.
Gosh.
You untie me now.
It's a miracle that we
Well,
survived that.
The words in the book back to normal.
For now. More importantly, the goddamn bugs are gone.
Amelia quickly scribbles into her notebook.
I'm just taking notes on anything useful in here. We can use it as a quick reference.
So, why did that work?
I have no idea. It shouldn't have.
And yet it did.
And for the record, my hair is not radioactive.
Says you.
It's all in good fun, darlings. Don't be mad. In any case, what's happened to the others who were consumed by the curse? Have we lost my dear brother for good?
It's taken a while, but we have... is that a grammatical error? Can what has be shortened to what? I don't know if that's a valid contraction or not. I need to Google this. Because I've always associated what's with what is. Yeah, there we go. What has can be shortened to what's. What's is a contraction of what is or what has. For example, what's the matter or what's been done. The more you know. Yeah, is actually valid. There you go, Raven. It just reads weirdly here, saying what's, in any case, what's happened to the others who were. Yeah, it works. It's just me.
The book says they're probably... Wait a minute.
Amelia's gaze holds on what appears to be an especially interesting page. This one is from the Kama Sutra and has diagrams.
What is it? What is it?
Amelia says nothing, instead scribbling into her notebook with such vigor that it looks like the pen may explode under the pressure. She's saving that one for later. Raven, it's the punctuation that makes things seem wrong. It really does.
Who wrote this anyway?
Elise walks around the table, tilting her head to read the fine serif font spanning the page.
The Curse of Midnight is documented as an urban legend, originating sometime in the Victorian era.
I see. How are you so knowledgeable on this?
Urban legend?
Oh no, wait, she's reading
if
it,
I didn't
of
know
course.
any better, I would wager that this is a fiction novel.
Amelia continues to scribble furiously into the notebook as Elisa's eyes scan the page.
The curse is said to have originated from overwhelming negative emotions or feelings of incredible emotional distress.
I am certainly emotionally distressed. Wait, does that make the curse stronger? Because the thought of that makes me even more distressed.
And this is how people spiral. Get stressed, bad things happen. Bad things happen, get more stressed.
Your emotional distress is distressing me.
Lilith holds her head in her hands, screaming like a child.
Lilith, calm down, dear.
Lilith slumps off into a corner.
Oh, here's probably what she's reading. A spell capable of breaking the curse's influence on a single individual, transporting them out of its reach. However, a certain device is required to cast it.
I mean, that sounds useful.
Oh, there's even a photo here. Well, an illustration, rather.
Ah, the amaranth.
A magic wand?
Oh, okay. Devs, come on. I'm not sure if that's a little nod or if you did it on purpose, but really having lorem ipsum as your placeholder text. I mean, unless people know about it, they wouldn't be looking for it, but that feels slightly low effort. Love the illustration, love the design, but could have put something else in there.
A staff? A stave? Or whatever.
But I'm being really nitpicky, and I acknowledge that.
If we have this, we can break the curse. It even has a name.
The amaranth. Isn't that the name of a flower?
Yes, it is. And I only know that. It's not a flower, I don't think. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. An amaranth is a flower. Yeah. And I know that because of Stardew Valley.
The spell was only attempted once without the amaranth. At least according to the documents, which were found among human remains.
Ew. So it's gonna turn us into meat paste?
I mean, it didn't say that explicitly.
Well, that's an unexpectedly morbid thing for you to say.
It's worth a try, right?
Also, note, it's another new piece of music in the background. That's a really nice touch. A lot of games I've played like this before reuse music really frequently, but so far I don't think we've heard the same background track twice, and that's a really nice attention to detail. To have that many tracks that thematically fit and not have them get old for the player is actually quite clever.
Well, it seems like a better idea than what we just did. But it sounds like we need this amaranth, or else we'll end up vaporizing ourselves. I can't imagine it would be in my mansion, though.
That's a good point, Xari, what you could do instead. Just skip to the first paragraph. Don't think anyone recognized about the first part. That's true. If it didn't have lorem ipsum up there, and it just started with this paragraph and went onwards, yeah, I probably wouldn't have recognized it for what it is. However, they've used the same text here and here. Morbi non tutor. Yeah. Vestibutum. Yeah, it's the same paragraph in those two sections. Lilith raises an eyebrow, pointing at a page in the book.
Hey, wait a minute.
Item pickup. That's a gorgeous shot. Look at the lighting on that. That is lovely. The glow of this orb. Lilith holds up a red crystal globe, its gleaming exterior shining under the moonlight.
This looks just like the one in the book, doesn't it?
We have a piece of the puzzle.
Why do you have that?
Because I'm Lilith.
So, the amaranth has 4 pieces. The globe, the crown, the hilt, and the handle. If we
Noted.
have a piece, we can teleport someone out of the mansion. Each piece can only be used once, unless we assemble the whole thing, and, well, then we can potentially end the curse forever.
So this is probably where some of the choice and consequence comes in. Make wrong decisions in the scenarios, you probably don't get the piece of the amaranth. And so at the end, you're only able to send out probably a maximum of 3 characters. If you manage to assemble all 4 pieces, then everyone escapes and you get the good ending.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you didn't smash anyone's head in with that thing.
I thought about it.
Where in the world did you even hide that thing? You don't have pockets, do you?
You don't want to know.
Anyway, if this amaranth is real, it may be the only way to get us out of here. We have to find the rest of it. For now, 1 piece should be enough to try that spell. We're getting you out of here before you get one of us killed.
Me? Well, I suppose if you don't need me.
What if it vaporizes her?
Well, anything is better than being stuck here.
Wow.
But she helped us.
It's fine. We have a piece of the amaranth, and we have the book. That's all we need, right?
I guess.
Well, I'll be leaving then. Toodles, friends.
Fine.
She's
Stand still.
not even looking back. Amelia begins to recite the incantation from the book, much more confident in her pronunciation than Lilith was moments before. The glass globe begins to glow a bright blue as it rises out of Lilith's hand.
Wow, it's working!
Just like magic!
Well, it was fun, wasn't it? I hope you have a good life, Elise. At least better than we have.
Elise hesitates upon hearing the sorrow in Lilith's voice. Amelia completes the chant, a blue circle appearing on the ground around Elise. Elise bites her lip.
What happens after this? We can't use it again.
We'll find the other pieces.
But... yeah, we'll figure it out, won't we? We always do.
Despite her cheerful optimism, Lilith's voice falters with uncertainty. Oh, we get to choose. I don't like this character, so she's staying.
Septum luminaria extingui.
The blue glow disperses from the globe, falling around Elise like shooting stars.
Oh, so pretty.
Elise looks down at the filthy marble floor, kicking at the loose, torn pages that litter her formerly beautiful home. Alfred would never have allowed this. Artisan floors caked in dirt and grime. Elise would have gotten down on hand and knee and scrubbed it herself if she needed to.
I can't leave it like this.
Huh?
My house.
Ah, look at that. Suspended in midair, Elise grabs Amelia's arm, pulling her into the summoning circle's sparkling embrace.
What are you...
They'll suffer for doing this to my house.
Now what? Thump. Elise falls on the ground as Amelia's body rises into the air, immersing her within a bright blue light. And we send Amelia out. The glow disperses in an instant as Amelia's body disappears along with the glittering stars. The globe of the amaranth falls to the ground, rolling to a stop at Lilith's feet. Now, I don't know if that was dynamic music, but the fact that it managed to rise and fall along with the action was beautiful. Very nice touch.
Why did you do that? Now we've lost the book, too.
Not to worry, dear. We still have her notes, don't we?
Nope.
Yes. But why?
Because we both have business to take care of here, don't we?
Business?
Elise picks up the globe, handing it to Lilith.
We both have people to save. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I guess we do.
Elise looks down at the crystal globe in Lilith's hands.
And when we complete that staff, I have a mansion to avenge.
Good for you, Elise. I mostly just wanted you here so I could sacrifice you later. But that's okay.
How much of the book did she manage to copy down anyway?
Some background of the curse, the teleport spell we just used.
Do we still have that nifty curse-stopping spell?
No.
That's unfortunate.
Fabulous.
Oh, outfit unlocked.
So, tell me,
Nightmare.
Lilith, do you
That's
still do
cool.
your makeup every day?
Alright, I think we are going to pause there. I'm going to throw down a save just because I might actually come back and play more of this just for fun of it. But I think on that note, we're going to end it there. So far, this has been really enjoyable. It's a solid freaking game. Like I said, I think it's got some flaws just in terms of the pacing, but again, I can't critique it too harshly given that it is a completely free experience. This is going to be interesting. I think I'm not going to flick over to the slide deck and throw together some thoughts on there because I don't think there's really enough. This has been a very solid experience, and to the two devs, you should absolutely be proud of the game that you have created here, and I think I speak for myself and the niche of the gaming community that enjoys this kind of content would absolutely be grateful that you are positioning this as a free-to-play game, which is just incredibly generous. So thank you sincerely for positioning your game in that way. I think if I had any specific feedback to give, I would say that I think you've absolutely nailed the art and the presentation. And I think this is kind of a great entry point to people that are looking for a more narrative-focused visual novel rather than a more interactive and choice and consequence style one. I think the pacing does suffer slightly. Would love to have a little bit more player interaction and engagement. But what you have absolutely nailed is the casting and the delivery of the lines. I do still feel a little bit of disconnect between Elise's character, her voice and appearance, but it seems like that's intentional because it's meant to feel like she's putting on a character. And in that sense, I can kind of still get behind it. But especially with how it's first presented, it's a bit of dissonance there. If that is intentional, beautiful. Great work. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. But yeah, casting was great. All of the voice actors have been delivering their lines fantastically. And the writing is very on point. As I said a couple of times, the fact that it actually it almost predicts how the player is going to respond to something because it's a trope or it's a common thing that comes up or it's just an unrealistic way of responding to a situation, and then actually addresses it, almost doing a little rug pull, a little bit of subversion. It's beautiful. I absolutely enjoyed it and made me chuckle every single time one of those came up. So massive pats on the back for the writing because that was just fantastic. And I sincerely hope that this game gets a little bit more coverage and love from the gaming community because there's a lot to enjoy here. Very curious to know, and it's a shame that we haven't got one of the devs hanging out in the chat because the question that is on my mind that I would love the answer to is how many different endings are there and how much do the different choices matter? Because we came across a couple of points where the flow of the narrative potentially has changed because of the choices that we've made. What I would like to have is a few more flavor choices that are added in. They don't change the path of the narrative, but they maybe change one or two lines in terms of how the characters respond to what you've said. It's one of those little here, have a little bit of choice to make sure that you're still engaged and interacting with the story. You'll get a slightly different response out of it, but it doesn't change the overall narrative. And that's totally fine. You don't want to do it too often, because then the player becomes unsure of what's actually going to have an impact or not. But you can always include a different mechanic that highlights, like, is this a safe choice or is this a consequential choice, right? And a lot of other narrative-heavy games do that quite well. So yeah, if I think I had any critique, it's just I would like a little bit more player choice and engagement. I think the pacing's great, characterization's great, voice acting's fantastic, writing is excellent, the art is lovely. I think you've gotten high marks in a lot of areas here. Oh, the other minor gripe that I would have is if you are doing a voice acting heavy game, need to take the extra step to have the, what's the word I'm looking for, the subtitles or the text for the spoken line progress at the same speed that the line is spoken. That's probably my own minor gripe, because sometimes it just throws you out when you're hearing one thing but reading something else because they're not in pace. But that was easily fixed by just increasing the text speed. Everything flowed quite nicely there. But it would make sense to me that you would want to then have the text speed on fast by default to make it a slightly better experience. Zari said, in Life is Strange, there were the blue butterflies to show there's an important choice. Yeah, something like that to just highlight when it's an important choice versus an inconsequential one. That's a nice subtle way of doing it. And Pickle People, is there a way I can fund the devs? They expect donations, because this definitely took a lot of time and money for no monetary compensation. Yes, there is a roughly $10 supporter pack that you can buy. In fact, let me just jump back over to Steam for a second. Here you go. Yes, there is a supporter pack here, approximately $10. Gives you access to some artwork like this, which you can use for, you know, desktop backgrounds and things. I'm a bit sad that we never got to see whatever room this is. It looks like a photo lab, actually. Yeah, for developing photos. And it gives you a bit of background into like some of the design aspects as well. So if you want to support the devs, this is what you can do. It's a 97-page art book, 100 4K wallpapers. That's, honestly, for the price, that's massive. So yeah, full kudos to the devs on this. I think they have created something quite spectacular. And I'm very excited to see where they go from here, because I think they're onto something quite cool. So great work to the two devs. Thank you very, very much for giving me an opportunity to showcase your game. It has been an absolute pleasure. And I think on that note, we're going to wrap up the stream there. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with me. I know it's just been a small group today, but hopefully you've enjoyed getting to see a bit of a teaser for the game, bit of a first look. We'll be back with another stream, and just stay tuned. It might be on Saturday, might shift to Sunday. I'm going to play around and potentially try a later stream than normal for the next Wheel of Misfortune. We'll see how we go as well. We may have a new review video ready for you in time for this weekend. If not, we should definitely have it for the week after. It's going to be another big video, 4 games in 1 coming to you for the next one. So take care. There's plenty more content on the way. Make sure you stay safe in this crazy holiday season. And obviously, keep in touch with your loved ones as well. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Until then, take care.